I know we've got an outstanding show. Everybody, please take your seats. It's going to be fantastic. We've got an amazing special guest on tonight. I know a lot of you guys are coming over from his channel. All right, everybody sit down. Let me get these introductions through. I want to thank everybody first and foremost for being here tonight. Please, guys, let me know. Make sure the audio is sounding great. I want to make sure everybody can hear us this week. We had a bit of technical difficulties last week, but we settled that. Shout out to all the Foxy Games UK fans that are here also in the chat tonight, along with the Mooch Maniacs. Guys, I want to say thank you so much for the amount of channel growth just in the past month. It's been unbelievable, and it's an honor to do this show for you. And let me just say a special shout out. Shout out to Doggy Dog 420 who says, the super chat's working. Happy Friday, everybody. Shout out to Doggy Dog, and I will get the other two super chats that were prior. I want to say thanks to the Mooch Maniacs and give them all a shout out. Shout out to Sir X-Man, Masshole 1977, Midway Monster, JudaZuk, WoolleyGamer, Ben Link, TrueWiddy, Wraith The Emperor, The Wise Old Gamer, Failed Pyromancer, Frostbite Slash, EDM Gamer Records, Jacob Evans, Tactical Gamer, our major Mooch Maniacs, 4-star General, Matt Bradley, Shaun Slamka, Lucifer, Brian B, a.k.a. Delirium Blades, and our VIP Mooch Maniacs, Remarkable Knights, Van, a.k.a. the Butcher Van, Marty Bison, Rich Kreischer, Rated D Demonic, Doggy Dog 420, Percolator 9000, and our honorable mentions, who was with us last week in our Mooch Maniacs Ice Queen Gaming, the great Wilmy Hood. Thank you so much, Wilmy, for all the support you've done for the channel, and forever Mooch Maniac, long shot 316. Guys, let me go ahead and start our introductions. Like I said, we've got a packed topics list, and I don't want to keep the panel waiting long. Let me start with the one, the only. He's the unscripted YouTuber you've been asking for, and you deserve the Crap Gamer. Crap, how the hell are you doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty good, man. Glad to be here. A lot of cool stuff to talk about. I'm a little surprised Xbot is in here.
I know tonight's his night, right?
Yeah, I mean, it should be his night. Somebody's got to defend Battletoads. So, hopefully he gets in here soon. I'm looking forward to hearing from Microsoft's official lawyer there. So it'll be a fun show. But yeah, it's an exciting time, man. I love it. I love doing the show. So let's get started.
Appreciate that. Let me just say shout out to Sir X-Man who says I'll be playing golf and listening to the show. I appreciate that, Sir X-Man. I've also got a Foxy Games UK maniac here, Mooch Maniac. Jem Nazzo, he says, the man, the myth, the legend, Foxy Games UK. He is here tonight, folks. And believe me, we have an introduction waiting for him. Sergeant Saltino says Super Chat is definitely working. And let me just take a second here to say thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Jessica fam, shout out to Mooch and Crap. Keep preaching the truth, boys. Jessica, I can't say thank you enough. That is a tremendous super chat, and thank you again. We will be mentioning you throughout the entire show. Thank you. Sergeant Saltino says, no crap, no peace. All right, then I've got my buddy here. You guys know him as the Great Gaming Forte. Forte's channel is blowing up because he's speaking sense. Forte, you are doing an insane job on your channel. Love the work you're doing, buddy. Your ears to the ground for us. How are you tonight?
I'm good, man. Hey, I miss Xbox being here because I was ready to get that last Battletoads out of my system before. So he ain't even here to give it to me. So it's like, now I gotta, take my expectations and put them to the ground and hope he does it one last time before this show is over.
Let's hope he does join us, buddy. Let's hope he does join us. I was right there with you, Forte. And then one of our special guests tonight, he needs no formal introduction. It's Brap, Basement Radio Arcade Podcast. Enrique, how are you tonight, buddy? And thanks for being here.
This is CrossFire, and we are live, and woo! Brap is in the house.
Excited, take my expectations.
Well, I appreciate that, Brap. Thank you, guys. Do let me know. A few people in the chat are saying I have to turn my mic up. I can do that, guys, but once I start yelling, it could get even louder. But let me say this much. I am honored, and I am very, very grateful to have this next special guest on. I'm a big fan of his channel. I'm a big fan of the things that he says on his shows. And, let me take it one step further here, everybody. I've been told that I have a unique voice, and I have a radio voice. But myself, I will go ahead and take a second seat to one of the most unique voices in podcasting and YouTube video history. Shout out and welcome Foxy Games UK. Foxy, welcome to the show tonight. How are you?
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you very much for having me. And hello to the panel and the chat.
Absolutely, Foxy. Great to have you. Look at the crowd is shuffling in, and everybody's just so excited. Jay Summers says, "Foxy Games UK, you're the best, man. PS5 rules." What? Listen, if this was actually a studio, Foxy, I think we'd have people outside just chanting your name and lighting matches. If that's the way it's going to be tonight, that's fine with me.
I'd much rather have panties thrown at me, but that's okay.
That's what I'm talking about.
I love that British humor. It's great. All right, listen, guys, let's get to the first subject here. And Foxy, I'm going to put you on the hot seat just because it's something that you've talked about. It's something that you've actually been tweeting about. And a lot of your fans on Twitter have recently been saying, enough with the code. We can't break your code. We don't get the puzzles. But everybody wants to know, first and foremost, what's going on when it comes down to PS5 and Xbox Series X. From what you've heard, price and release date, are the rumors true?
Right, that's really putting me on the spot. I'll tell you one thing. Let me just dial it back real quick with the whole cryptic thing.
Yes.
You know, I get accused of this cryptic stuff that I do,
wants to know.
but I don't really have a choice, to be honest with you. And it may not seem so beneficial now, but believe me, when things are finally confirmed, you'll look back at those tweets and you'll say, "Oh yeah,
that's what he meant."
Hopefully. That's the whole purpose of doing it. I mean, I can't just blurt out and say blah, 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 and this, that, and the other. For one, I'd be in a lot of trouble. Two, you won't like me. Or you'll like me even less when you say things like, "Oh, you ruined it for me."
Well, you know, I know what you mean when you say that, but I mean, listen, first of all you always say take things with a pinch of salt, or this is what I've heard, right? So in essence, you have people that you speak to that are somewhat in the know more than the rest of us in certain cases. So just parlaying that information out to others is absolutely no harm, no foul as far as I'm concerned. And this is a talk show. So, I mean, having that little bit out there is these are juicy little tidbits that everybody wants to know as we get closer and closer to the next generation. I've heard myself personally, and Crap has also mentioned this on numerous videos that he's done as well. November 6th, I'm hearing Xbox Series X at a $499 price, US dollars, of course. And I'm hearing PS5 at a November 13th launch date at $499. The digital edition coming in at a whopping $399. So my point here is that I think these numbers to a certain extent hold water. I think maybe if anyone wants to argue with me, we may be off by $50 total. But do these dates and these prices, do they hold water with you, Foxy?
Well, certainly, I believe the Series X is going to cost more money than all of the next-gen consoles coming out, purely because this is not Microsoft's main sales driver. Microsoft are more considering the entry model, Series S, as their driver. You know, Game Pass, it's all about subscription services. They're not really that fussed about which console you buy, where you play your games. And I'm telling you now, there's rumors of $600, $599 UK pounds, and I wouldn't be surprised. Quite frankly, I wouldn't be surprised.
Really? So, Crap, you'd mentioned this too. This is something that you were kind of discussing. $599 for a price that's not out. That's not out of the range.
Here's the thing. It's worth it. First of all, like I want to make that perfectly clear. Like the tech inside, would be worth it. But I would also say, keep saying they don't care if they sell you this thing. Right? They don't care. They care. You know, phones, PC, an Xbox One from 2013. It honestly does not matter to them. No, the lesser mod, they wouldn't make a lesser. They would do what Sony is doing and do a discless version and probably knock $50 to $100 off of it if they weren't, you know, if they didn't have like this super high price point. And again, I personally probably think that the Series X will probably still manage to come in at $499, although they said that the SoC was more expensive than the One X, which was $499. So they're going to have to eat. It's automatically going to be sold at a loss. So depending on how big of a loss really is up to them. But it wouldn't surprise me at $599. It wouldn't surprise me at $499. I just think that, you know, you got to believe them that they really don't care. Like, unless they're really just pre-damage controlling the fact that they're going to sell poorly, you know, I think that that's pretty much what sums it up. You know what I mean? I think that, you know, and will the Series S even launch at the same time? There's skepticism about that. Some people are saying not till next year. So I mean, it really just depends on what they do. But I feel like Sony's got them in a good place. Sony's in a good place right now. Mostly important, I think, is the games lineup, because we're getting hints of new exclusives from Sony, and Microsoft's games lineup might be the worst lineup since the Nintendo 64. Yeah, at least that had Mario 64. So
That's right.
a classic game. I can't think of anything on the Xbox side that's like, man, I got to get me an Xbox for that. It's like that's a big problem.
Is that
more so than
damaging,
anything
though? I mean,
else?
do you think that's damaging crap to what? I mean, because like,
Yeah.
And I spoke with you behind the scenes days ago when we were doing MNC, and I spoke with Foxy behind the scenes earlier today. And I think we'll all agree that 2022, 2023 may be a big year for Xbox, but that's a long time between today and then.
I mean, if we buy a Xbox Series X, Mooch, what game are we getting with that?
Nothing technically new that we're aware of.
Exactly.
Maybe the medium. But
I'm not. That doesn't even interest me. So you know what I'm saying? Like, what game would be it? Like, there's not even a racing game. Like, come on.
Yeah.
So I do think that Sony's got Microsoft by the balls. Like, the power stuff is great, but when you're getting something for Christmas under the tree and you're like, here's my Xbox, but where's the games? You're kind of looking around, doing the Scooby Gang search. Kind of, where's the games? They're nowhere. So I don't know what Microsoft was thinking.
Can I just add this as well? If you cast your memories back, if you recall, Phil Spencer saying that Xbox One, I inherited this mess. Remember him saying that in not so many words? I'm paraphrasing, but when we were criticizing Don Matrick and Don Matrick left, Phil Spencer came out and done all these interviews about he's going to save Xbox. He kept saying that I wasn't in charge. I didn't call the shots. I was like number 2 or 3 or 4, in line for decision making. I wasn't the guy in charge of the box. So he blamed Don Matrick. He said, I'm clearing up this mess. This is not my doing. I didn't create this box, but he's still holding on to it.
Yes.
For 2 years into the next generation. Let it go. It's been a thorn in Microsoft's backside since it launched. Let's be honest. It hasn't done. Game Pass is one thing, but if you're talking about this hardware, it has underwhelmed everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Game Pass is one thing, but talk about the hardware and the games leading up to Game Pass. It has underwhelmed. It's undeniable that the first two and a half, I'd give 2.5 years, right? For 2.5 years, I was quite envious of the content on Xbox because, bear in mind, we didn't have the big hitters on PlayStation yet. For the first year, I think the best we had was Drive Club and Infamous. So we're still waiting for these games like Uncharted, but then Xbox was getting Sunset Overdrive and Forza Horizon 2 while we're stuck on the track. Titanfall. We're stuck on the track. I remember the adverts. Microsoft ran commercials in the UK. I don't know about the States. They certainly ran Forza Horizon 2 Xbox One bundle adverts in the UK where it clearly said, free yourself from the track. And it shows you that you're in an open world space, while Sony's Drive Club failed to get off the starting line because of the grid, because of the whole multiplayer fiasco, and you're stuck on the track. So I was envious of the content for only about 2 years, though. And then they just did what they did the generation before, got distracted like they did with Kinect, took their foot off the gas, focus went in the wrong areas, and now you have Game Pass.
No, I agree. And the one thing that I kind of want to point out that I think I mentioned a while ago, but again, we had some great discussions earlier today, Foxy. And one of the things that people questioned as or remarked as a negative for Sony was that they said, well, Jack Tretton left, and then and if my names are wrong, please do correct me. Andrew House stepped in, and then after Andrew House, we have, of course, Herman Hulst, who's in there now. My point being is that Sony continuously is changing leadership with bright, new, young ideas, new people. Now, don't get me wrong, sometimes that can backfire. But so far, the methodology has worked. Where, here's the thing, everybody was down on Donnie D, and I actually wasn't. I thought his attack, like you said, he did get a bit distracted with Kinect. But his early on moves for Xbox One and the games he locked down, I thought were great. When they removed Donnie, they just took everybody else that was sitting at the head table, and everybody just took a seat to the right. They didn't change anything else. It was just one individual, and everybody just kind of shifted over. I don't think that's a very long time that you have the same people in leadership right now at Xbox. I think it's time for a new group, a new leading pack. And I could be wrong. Brap, you know,
I think they lost a few, though, didn't they? Albert Pinello and
yes. Well,
what's the other guy?
left.
What's the other guy?
Mike Ibarra has left recently, but that
Yeah,
was
but
recent.
why would they leave? Here's the question: why would they leave? It seems like you got a job for life. You know the way we're describing it now. Where they don't change their executives, it seems like you got a job for life at Microsoft. Why did they leave? Did they disagree with the direction? I don't know. Why did they leave?
I've heard some rumors that it had to do with the direction of where they wanted to take Xbox as more of a services based platform as opposed to kind of competing head to head with Sony. You know, and we've talked about this on Brap more recently that Microsoft, and I think you mentioned this too, Foxy, like at least like the last, you know, couple years or whatever, or this generation from a hardware perspective, they really haven't been doing well. And they really only have challenged Sony successfully with the 360. And even then, the PS3 ended up outselling that console. So, you know, Game Pass really speaks to the DNA of Microsoft as a company, and it makes sense for them to head that direction. They're not a hardware manufacturer. They really never have been. Sure, they make Surface tablets, but that's not who Microsoft is. They're an Azure cloud-based company, and that's why we see Microsoft heading in the direction they're doing with Game Pass. I really believe they want to get rid of the boxes eventually, and they can't do it now. They'll alienate a lot of people if they pivot too quickly. So this is just a gradual move to get to that point where they want to be, where they're not going to have, you know, a traditional console,
a dedicated hardware box under your TV. Let me just real quick say, shout out to, and guys, please let me know. Thank you to Salty. By the way, shout out to Saltiest Gaming and all of you that are telling me my mic is low. Please let me know if it's better now. I did make a slight adjustment. Shout out to Frostbite Slash, who says, Foxy, can you, and this, Foxy, please don't answer this yet. We'll get to it later, but we will keep it in our topics list. Foxy, can you comment or hint on the Sony acquisitions that you mentioned the other day, please? I saw so many people asking that question today, Foxy. Those are those hints you were giving out. And the great Marty Bison says, battle who? What up, fellas? Everyone hit that like button. Let's get Mooch to 100,000. Why not? Why not 100? Why stop there, Marty? The great Marty Bison, thank you so much. Well, if you want to answer that, Foxy, you can. There were a lot of people asking, maybe towards the hints of the possibly new acquired studio that Sony may have to announce sometime this year, maybe at the next event. I don't know if you can comment on that, or it's not something you can say.
Well, I have some limitations on what I can say. But repeat the question again. Sorry,
no, that's fine.
Repeat the question again.
Not a problem at all. Frostbite said, Foxy, can you comment or hint on the Sony acquisition that you mentioned the other day, please?
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah, okay. Before I do, though, people are saying that I'm botting or something. Is that still the case? Because
I hear it every now and again. You'll come through very clear, Foxy, and then all of a sudden, my audio's low, too, for some reason.
I think he has to unplug his mic and plug it back in or something. Sometimes that can happen. That's what it sounds like. It's crackling, you know? So, yeah.
Okay, I've done.
Well, while we take a second here, I'll do the same thing. It sounds better, Foxy. Yeah. Speak a few words first.
Okay. Mic check 1 2. My mic sound nice. You done know. How's that sound?
It still cracks a little bit. Yeah. I don't know what the deal is. Yeah, I'm not sure what the deal is. Just it was crackles, clear earlier. You know what I mean? Yeah.
It was very clear earlier though, wasn't it?
It was. Yes, it was. We did a test run. Guys, I did adjust my audio. I don't know if during mid-podcast me making my changes helps at all. If it doesn't, my apologies. All I can say is I will talk louder, which I can do. You guys are well aware
that's what we need.
Right? So, So I turned it into a crap site. Great. There goes my last eardrum I had. But yeah, I mean, what is there an acquisition coming our way, Foxy?
Okay, well, it's already happened. It's not coming our way. It's just Sony hasn't spoken about it yet.
My apologies.
Here's the thing.
All I can say is
here's my problem. This has been my Achilles heel since I started doing this whole sharing of information thing. Okay. I don't want to sound vain. That's not the intention to come off vain, but I'm just too damn early. That's my problem. I put stuff out way too early that so much time elapses. It's almost as if it's never going to happen, but it does. Same thing happened with PS4 Pro. Put some stuff out 2 years before mainstream media was speaking about it. But during that time frame, an awful lot of impatience is built up. So that was the problem in January. I put that out there, and I fully expected like February, March for Sony to come out and do the whole stage thing, like we all expected. But then a pandemic hit us.
Yes.
And it just threw everything up in the air. And now we're getting drip fed stuff. That is, it's something, but it's not the same as what we're used to. And people are pretty pissed with it. Do you know what I mean? Although they understand why, it is still a bit annoying that we don't have that grand stage moment. And all we're getting is these low budget, in some cases, low budget video feeds of developers talking about their games. You know what I mean?
Yes.
We're not used to that. We're used to a proper buzz, a big spectacle of an affair. So unfortunately, January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, and Sony still hasn't spoken about it, but it's coming. They will speak about it.
Can I
They
ask
may
you? Let me
reveal
ask
one
this,
or
Foxy.
2 studios.
Foxy, allow me to ask one question. Would you say it's on the magnitude of an Insomniac Games?
It depends. It depends what genre you're into. That's a very objective
It is.
question.
I
It
try
really
to be
depends.
very vague with it because I guess I'm just talking about on grand scale. Because when you look at Insomniac, they did everything from Sea of the Deep, which is a very, very small indie, which is just a very, very tiny game that they put out, all the way up to things like, of course, Marvel's Spider-Man, which was a massive success. I think all of their games are quite a success this generation, myself personally.
Well, Mooch, I put out a lot of teasers and rumors.
Yes.
But one rumor that I didn't put out that came from me was that PlayStation 5 would be 13.3 teraflops. I want to make that clear to your audience because I'm getting a bit tired of taking Tommy Fisher's. I'm not carrying the can for someone else. This is a guy called Tommy Fisher who said Xbox Series X would be 12 out a lot on T-flops. Teasers even gave the speed of the GPU. He did the same with PS5 and said it was 13.3 T-flops. I reported on it like everybody else, but somehow I'm labeled this as if I confirmed it, which is not true. So, and that's factual. I've got receipts. There's proof that a guy called Tommy Fisher said it. The guy's probably in Hawaii somewhere sipping on margaritas while I'm
those
taking
leaks were
on
multiple sites that said that because I covered it too. It was like, and I didn't say that I thought that. I actually thought I fully said take it with a grain of salt that I didn't personally believe it. So, but I get that too. The funny thing is, I notice how a lot of people are on you or me or whoever when you cover something that's part, rumor or whatever, and you say that it's a rumor and it gets, oh, well, this person said this. It's like, no, you didn't say that. You actually watch it. You know what I mean? Then you'll get a different kind of story. But there's people out there that will say something ridiculous like the PS5 is 9 teraflops and only 12 gigs of memory, and nobody ever brings that up to them whatsoever. So I always just find it funny that, certain people get, treated a lot differently when it comes to this kind of stuff than other people. So.
No.
Yeah, what I actually believed was that it would be 11 point. I didn't confirm this either. I believed it. There's a big difference between confirming something as factual and just saying that you believe, because I did believe. I'm not going to, I'm not going to backtrack. I believed it would be 11.6 T-flops. That's what I believed.
Foxy, I think the 13 came from the actual PS5 dev kits being 13 because I think they were based on GCN. There were some issues with RDNA 2 and stuff. Apparently, it was a mess in the beginning. So
dev kits are always slightly more powerful anyway. Plus, they always have more RAM. What's going on, everybody?
Battletoads!
Yo,
Xbot 448, outstanding Xbot. You are. And I promised you that we would save Battletoads, so we are not there yet. So welcome to the show, buddy.
Dude, that's my heart. I appreciate that, brother. What is going on? Good to see Foxy in here as well.
Absolutely.
What is up, brother?
Should I rejoin? People are saying rejoin. Like they can't stand the tone of my voice, or they think the quality of my mic.
I think
No,
you know what it is.
You're cutting in and out.
It's cutting in and out. I think it's just
I'll
it's
cut off
probably a
and-
wire connection. If you unhook the mic and leave and then come back in, I'll be able to get you right back into the show anyways, Foxy.
Yeah,
So-
Foxy, there's only one bot here. You can't take my job, man. You
He's
were
the bot.
botting a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
There's only
So what
one.
do I do? Do I end this call? Because I'm a bit rusty. I haven't done this for about 7, 8 months. Do I use
Yep,
Discord, rather?
you'll do that and then jump in the same waiting room that you were in. I'll get you right back into the Crossfire booth.
Okay, cool. I'll do that. I'm going to end the call.
Okay, great. So, real quick, while we're doing that, Ahmad El
$4.99.
Mahadi, he says, I heard from someone the studio's Platinum Games. And I just want to say, like, listen, first of all, if that, I don't think so. I hate
I don't
to,
think so.
right? Just because they've made
Tencent.
certain, that may be.
Tencent invested a lot of money in them. I don't see that happening.
Right. So I agree with that same sentiment. I don't think, and Foxy will test your mic right away. One of the super chats just read and said that he heard that the rumor would be Platinum Games, but I would debunk that myself unless you have other information.
Yeah, real quick.
I wouldn't even waste my breath to comment on that.
Okay, so then that sounds like a no. But it does. You know what? I don't know, Foxy. What it may be. It may just be a loose wire on the bottom of your mic. It does sound a little bit. It's still crackling just a smidgen. But that's okay. We can work around that. Believe me, last week I sounded awful. The week before that, it sounded like I was broadcasting from a tin can.
Well, you guys can't blame me. I just got here. Okay?
No, it's not you, Xbot. It's definitely not you. But you know what? Let me get to this. Forte, you've been extremely vocal, and it's great to have Crap and Foxy here tonight because they've done videos on this. Forte, you have been very outspoken about a $599 price tag for the Xbox Series X. Not that you're saying that that's what it'll be, but it definitely holds water in your camp. Forte, where are you today on your price and release date?
He's dropping it by 100. Go ahead,
I'm
brother.
dropping it by 100. No, I still feel like feel like that system still could come out at that price point. It's not that overall it's impossible. That's the thing that people keep
outspoken
throwing back at me, like, oh, there's no way that they'll sell a system at that price. I think the only downside to it now is the fact that they don't have a game like Halo to actually promote with it no more. Now that they lost that game being the launch title, it really does speak to what do they have to sell at launch for people to pick up with the system. Now, there will be a bunch of games to still play. I mean, especially if you got a huge library of games that you haven't went through, and a lot of those games are going to be enhanced by the experience of having that system. So I do think it'll be a harder sale. But let's be for real. Every system that
their entire marketing was going to be on Halo, bro. You know that.
But this is the thing. They instantly, as soon as and that's the thing that people probably didn't notice. The moment they delayed Halo is the moment they also put out a simultaneous blog on the Xbox Wire and changed their whole marketing push from being about Halo to about everything else that you may have or everything that you can get inside the Game Pass.
Yes,
and
sir.
that was. And I'm not mad at it because that's a great pivot. You had to do something to still entice people to want to buy the actual system itself. But
Forte.
People that think that system, even though I don't want it to be that price, it's just hard to believe that they wouldn't still sell it at that price because guess what? They're going to be in limited supply anyways. And even if they aren't in limited supply, people just buy stuff. And that system could be, the PlayStation could be $600 and they'll still buy it. And you won't find one during this holiday. Now it's a completely different story once we get into like the first quarter of next year, like February and March, when people don't have the disposable income because they literally just got through spending all that money they have for the holiday. And then you might see if they are $600 system might not push as much as it normally would, especially if you don't got the content to push it. But let's be for real. Every system that Microsoft and Sony produced this holiday will be sold. And it doesn't matter what the price point is. I mean, granted, we're not talking about a $700 system, but if they're talking $600 or less, all of them will be gone.
Yeah. Hey, Forte, I would ask you a question real quick. Forte, real quick, I want to ask you a question, man. So you're sticking with $600 for the Xbox Series X, right? Is that?
I mean, okay. So I'm gonna stick.
I'm asking you, will you bet your life on this?
Oh Lord, here we go.
Oh,
no, I would never bet my life
on it. What kind of gambler are you, man? Would you bet your life?
You got to ask Forte.
Show. You should have been at Brat the other day, man. The bet your life portion of the podcast, man. It was incredible. But
future Brat T-shirt.
Yeah, that should be emo coming soon to the Forte channel. But legit though. would I die on a hill saying it will be at $600? No, because I think a lot of stuff has changed, especially for Microsoft. I think it all depends on how you want. Microsoft has so many different ways that they can go after this. I truly believe that once they delayed Halo, it kind of makes it almost impossible for you to bring that system out at that price because you don't have anything to entice brand new for people to buy. But listen, but also I also think that Microsoft is in a situation where they truly, the only way they can really stand out is to undercut Sony. So it's kind of two diametric changes in what I think is going to happen. So they can easily sell that, and that's the thing. They can easily sell this system at $600 and sell every last one of them. But what's the perception going to be compared to if they sell it at $600 and sell every last one, or find a way to undercut Sony and sell them at either the same price or, God forbid, $100 cheaper, like a lot of these rumors are?
I don't think, Forte, there's any way that with the launch lineup coming out with Microsoft's current as it stands right now, I think a 5. No, don't get me wrong. What you said is ultimately true. Whatever comes out as far as product will sell this holiday season because everyone's in the market. It's been 7 years. Everybody's looking for a next generation console. So these upcoming 3 months, or if you will, holiday season, may not be a true representation. But it would take some brass balls, and pardon my French, if Microsoft was to come out with a $599 price tag, which would probably be $100 more than the PS5, and have the lineup they have. Would you not think that that's a bit of a gutsy move?
Well, we already seen the brass balls happen because people was really speculating that Halo would release in the state that it was at the end of this year. That's true. So the fact that they pulled the ripcord on that game within a week and a half of showing it and saying, like, you know, and then shout out to Phil Spencer being on the Animal Talking podcast, and he actually talked about that during his part with Jason Whittle. He actually said, you know, over the course of a week, that was, you know, they talked about delaying it and bringing it out in sections. And Phil Spencer said, no, we can't. That's basically not bringing out Halo. You know, if you're going to have Halo at launch, you got to have the whole experience at launch, not just parts of the game at launch. That's gonna deprecate the whole experience even more.
They're going to chop it up into pieces, didn't they?
Yeah,
that wouldn't work. Off of what you said, Game Forte. Earlier, you said something about the manufacturing of the Series X.
Yeah.
Going to have limited numbers or something, or, you know, that's a very likely scenario. I feel like because it's not their main sales driver, like the Xbox One X wasn't. We all know this. The S is their driver at the moment. So I feel that I feel like, and this obviously I have no definitive proof. This is just speculation. I feel like because of the expensive price of that system, Series X, it may not be 600. There's a possibility it could come in at 5.
Yep.
But let's be flexible on this. Let's look at both sides of the equation. If it is 600, I'd imagine that they manufacture in low numbers because they won't expect to sell as many as the cheaper Series S model, which is rumored to be about 349 to 399. And to be honest, if it is 500, then who's going to for the
Series S, brother?
If it's 399 for the Series S, right? Let's say it's 399, okay? Or even 349. Let's be more conservative.
Can we go 299 on that, bro?
Oh, Jesus!
I don't think it will. No, I don't think it will get that low. It won't get that low. That would be, unless they give you some subscription that you get it for $299 if you take out 3 years of a service. But off the shelf for you to buy it with no strings attached, I reckon it will be about 349 to 399. Right? The desirable number is 349, but let's imagine it's between those two numbers. Then let's say it's 499 for the more premium model. That's not a huge gap between the lower model and the higher number to justify having both of them. So one of them's got to be really expensive, and the other one's got to be reasonably priced.
Right. Well, so that's what and the thing that I was this also the reason I think that the $600 is more feasible than anything is the fact when they came out and talked about
huge gap,
literally saying that all of the other systems were going to be discontinued when it comes to the all digital edition and the X. Those were discontinued. they basically left the Xbox One S still in production. Now we don't know how long that in production is going to be. Maybe it's only through this holiday because they have a mass quantity in stock.
They're shutting that down by March, brother.
Well, I agree with that, but if you're going to have 3 systems technically on the market, like where does the S fall in that? Well, you're not going to sell it at the $200, $250 or $300 price point it is right now, because that's what the Series S is supposed to occupy. So is that system going to be what, $150? $199? Because like Foxy said, what's going to be the difference in delta to basically identify each system? Like, you're not going to sell it $50 to $100 less than your mid-tier system or your entry level to the next generation, because at that point it's like, well, why would anybody buy the cheaper version of the system? And then if you make the X so much cheaper, where it's only $100 difference between the beginning tier and the high-end tier, what's going to be a difference there? So it's just like more of just taking numbers and I don't exactly what they're going to do. Now, Microsoft can do anything they want to. They're a freaking $1 trillion company. If they want to take a hit, they can definitely take a hit. If they
Xbox is a division of $1 trillion company.
Well, well, let's be for real. If you want to take at face value what Phil Spencer said, that ever since he got into that seat, and Xbox has had a blank check when it comes to the things that they want to do, and they're not through spending money. And let's also not forget that Microsoft also doesn't have to spend a lot of money when it comes to the marketing.
Hold on, Forte, with all that,
Halo was actually supposed to be something they marketed this holiday. Guess
how are you going to quote
money is still there?
How are you going to quote Phil Spencer but not bring up what he said about being competitive when it comes to pricing and being aggressive and stuff like that? And then hold on, real quick, real quick, and then people are going out there and being like, it's gonna probably be $100 more than the PS5. If anything, what they would do is match the PS5 when it comes to the Series X, and then definitely go lower when it goes to the Series S. I don't understand what all this kind of like juggling is about.
We're not disagreeing. This is the thing. See, we're not disagreeing. I am not people keep thinking when I say $600 that this is the absolute price it's coming out at.
Right.
I'm just telling people, do not be surprised, because everybody keeps telling me a $600 system won't sell. I'm trying to tell you guys, being a person that works in retail, once you get to the once the rubber hits the road, all this stuff's gonna sell. Especially during the holiday.
I just want to put an X-Bot. I'll give you the mic in a second. I do want to just put an asterisk next to what Forte's saying. Forte, I will ride with you on everything that you're going with on your pitch, but once we pass December 25th for all practical purposes, then it's a different ball game, and it's not like they're going to drop the price on December 26th. So
I don't know. Nintendo did it. I don't know. Nintendo did it with a 3DS where they saw 4 months after launch, they realized they priced something at $300. What happened? 6 months later, $50 price drop.
Forte, I will ride with
Trust me. And look, if they know they can sell a system at $600, the hardcore people are going to go out and buy the system regardless. Microsoft can go out and sell this system at $600 and say, hey. Or they could even do the complete opposite of it. They can literally say, everybody that gets in, early adopters, this is what the price is going to be. Buy it before it sells out. During this point, it's going to be $500. Guess what? Anybody that buys it after a certain date, it's going to probably be $600. It's like that early adopter fee. There's a lot of different ways they could go, because at this point, Microsoft is giving you stuff. Why don't people realize that for the last 2 years, you have been able to get Xbox Game Pass for pennies on a dollar? You're talking about access to all of their games, not just their games, third-party games that's getting put in there day and date, and you're literally able to take 2 to 3 years of Xbox Live and convert it over for $1. The fact that they're doing that, and this is the thing, it hasn't been sporadic. They haven't done it here and done it there. This is something consistently that's been happening for 2.5
Nobody
years.
owes them for anything like that, though, bro.
But listen, they're trying, but this is the thing. They're trying to bolster a service, because once once you get so many people in that ecosystem, they expect the hope is people stay in it. So they're going to give it away at a certain price point.
They're trying to bolster that, and they're trying to gain mind share. They're trying to be looked at as kind of like a lot more pro-consumer than they were this generation. So and that's what I'm saying. Well, that's what I'm saying about this price point and talking like, you know, it can be 500 and then after, you know, early adopters, it goes up to 600. I don't think they'll do it.
Well, that's just throwing darts at the wall.
That'd be a horrible idea.
No,
that
but
would be a horrible idea.
Everybody,
they already took a shot. They already took a shot on Halo Infinite.
Everybody will tell you that the price of the X isn't going to be the thing that's going to help them next generation. They're going to live off of what the Series S is going to do. That's the system that's going to be the one that bolsters next generation. That's the one that everybody is going to be looking
but that doesn't mean that they're going to turn a blind eye in terms of mind share again. And like I said, can I just finish real quick, bro? Can I just finish what I was saying?
Go ahead.
Just real quick, man. Like they're not just because they want to gain that mind share. They took a massive hit when it came to the big gun, the main kind of like franchise game that was supposed to come out at launch, and they had to delay it. They kind of made that decision. That's what they were going to do. So they're not going to, I would hope that they wouldn't go around and just go double negative and do some of these things within the price point. You know, even Phil Spencer, when he talked about being aggressive, if you noticed, what he brought up was the fact that they were $100 more. And then in smaller kind of like tone, he was like, and less powerful. But he was like, he hammered home that it was $100 more and less powerful. Like I feel that they're at least gonna match on the PS5, the one with the disc, because there are people out there saying the one without the disc is gonna be $100 cheaper for the PS5, and I'm wondering why that is gonna be. Like, why wouldn't they be the same price just because it doesn't have a disc drive? So they would drop it by $100.
Well, no, it's the mind share there. Hear me out, Xbox. The idea behind it isn't just the hardware that would be lacking in there, but it's also the fact that when you make the decision as a consumer to buy a discless console, you've already signed up for Sony's PlayStation Store. You will be buying everything in their store, and they'll be getting that cut. Whereas when it's physical, they'll lose that percentage to a Walmart or a Target if you buy physical.
That's why I like being on Crossfire. I'll put out a question and I'll get an answer like that from the Mooch, man. That's what it is.
Go ahead,
Foxy. Can I interject? I did something. Do I sound better now?
It's still a little choppy, but it is a little bit better.
We got to hear you talk a little bit more to really let you know, man.
Okay, I'm trying. Okay.
Go ahead, bro.
You know the whole mindshare thing? I think Microsoft have mindshare. A lot of mindshare with the next gen. I'll tell you why. They've got the most rumored to be the most affordable entry next gen system, and they've got the mindshare of having the most powerful. But that doesn't mean that the top end has to sell more. Do you understand what I mean? Just having it exist is Microsoft's mindshare that they've got the most powerful next gen console. Certainly, all Sony's going to do is concentrate on first party and their third party partners. Yeah, and they're going to deliver hopefully the games that we all, well, I'm pretty sure the games that we've all got to enjoy throughout the PS4 era, quality releases. Microsoft, they're banking on dropping these AAA games on their own first party, but the rest is going to be a mixture of indies and just lower budget productions. If this is offending anyone, I'm sorry, but there's only so much budget to go around. Microsoft don't have infinite money to throw at Xbox. They have divisions that are budgeted, and those budgets have to be adhered to. Okay, just because Microsoft has all this money doesn't mean Xbox has unlimited spend. It doesn't work that way. That's not how business corporations work. So they're gonna have to work with the budget they've got. Now they have to pay all these developers to put games on Game Pass up front. Okay, now do you really think they can afford to fund, dozens of AAA games over how many years with that budget? They've already blown a lot of it on hardware. I mean, the Xbox Series X at $600, if it is that price, I still think that's value because if you understood what's in that hardware, you'd be paying a lot more if you were to buy an equivalent PC. Let me tell you that.
Absolutely.
You'd be paying double, 1,200 minimum. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
So it's still a value at 600, but let's say 499. Okay, I want to make people happy. If you got
You
your
just made
dreams
me
of paying
smile, bro.
500,
You just made me smile, man.
I'm not going to destroy that dream. So let's say 500. Okay, it's still Microsoft's top end system, but then Sony has a problem because if Xbox Series X is 500 and Sony's top end, that's the disk drive version, is 500.
Yeah.
Now the only thing left to separate them is the games. Some people are they are bedazzled by numbers. All you got to say is one's 10, one's 12. Doesn't matter what games are coming out. They'll stick to FIFA, COD, and whatever they can get for free on Game Pass with their subscription.
That's right. That's right. But in the case of Sony matching at $499, I would say that, or pardon me, Microsoft matching at $499. Sony, I feel, and everybody on the panel can tell me that I'm 100% wrong. I feel that that's why Sony is waiting for Microsoft to go first. If Microsoft puts the Xbox Series X at $499, I believe that Sony will put the PS5 at possibly $449 or lower, just because it's what Foxy just said.
I want Sony to go first.
So who you think gonna break first?
I want Sony to go first.
Because I'm at a certain. Because I'm at a huge. I believe, this I literally truly believe is what's gonna happen. I believe Microsoft is not going first.
They have.
They're not going. They're not going to go first. They are
nailing their feet to the floor. We are not moving.
Listen,
That's what they're saying.
Who has this? This is the thing. Who is relying on selling systems? What company?
Sony.
Sony is relying. Microsoft already has. They already set up the expectation that you don't have to buy into next gen in order to be able to enjoy the game.
I see where you're going with that.
Wait then. Why would they wait if it doesn't mean anything?
I don't agree with that.
No. Listen, if you are okay, Microsoft. Nothing has come good out of Microsoft going first. This entire generation. Nothing has come from it. Nothing has come good of that. Microsoft has literally watched everything that they've done when it comes to them going first. Sony has completely turned it on his head.
And Brap, you have the mic next. I just want to take care of a few of these super chats, but I do want to say, Brap, the only thing, Forte, that you left out was they revealed their console first, and that worked very heavily in their favor. Hold on 1 second. When I do have a few here. SaneU.com, he says, I think House Marquee, Blue Point, maybe Remedy. That's when we were talking a ways back about a possible acquisition by Sony. Chris says UBI like that. Ubisoft is dropping physical support on Xbox because they know 95% next-gen Xbox going to be discless series, a playing Game Pass throughout throwaway games. Shout out to King LB. He says, is Forte counting unemployment rates? That's when you're discussing price. Mr. Miracle's here in the super chat, and he says, with all those T-flops, Xbox is a master at flops for sure. And then shout out to Viper XT. He says, both Sony and Microsoft. Right, that was harsh. Mr. Miracle can be tough. Viper XT says both Sony and Microsoft probably want to sell their high-end consoles at $599, but they don't want to be the one to break the news first. So, Brap, go ahead. I took the microphone away from you. Go ahead, buddy.
Microsoft not going first.
yeah. Couple things real quick. Regarding the comment about unemployment rate and the recession that we're in COVID and all that, or the pandemic. Look, the gaming industry is doing very well, and a lot of industry analysts have said it's almost pretty much recession proof. You look at this year; it's actually doing better than it did last year.
That's true.
So look, they could drop a $600 price point, people will buy it. And I will say this: look, Forte's
bring it home, brother.
You said something effective. Sony needs to go first before Microsoft because they're the ones selling boxes. And I get that, but if it's not important to Microsoft, they would just release the price anyway. If it's not important for them to sell boxes, because price is an issue for them. So, I mean, I think.
Well, no, let me ask you this. This is where I think it matters to Microsoft. If Microsoft was going to come out and tell you right now that their system was $400, they would do it. Because at that point they know Sony. That's because they know Sony ain't going under that price. They either know Sony going to match that price or they're going to be above it. They're not going under 400. That's why I think it's a higher price point. And at this point, Microsoft doesn't want. It's either going to be 400 or 600. They're not going to come in. I think if they come out first and say 500, they know Sony's going to come in and say 400.
Here's the thing. Microsoft is taking that PC model approach.
Yes.
And so if it's $600 and it's 12 teraflops, look, there's a market for that. There's enthusiasts out there. We see it in the PC market.
Yes.
You know this. Like you got a 2080 Super, right?
Sure
You were not the norm per se, right? In the PC market. People that are buying the Xbox
when it comes out in September.
Oh boy.
Yeah, there you go. Right. I think that thing is a monster compared to the 2080. You've seen those images, but
get that money ready.
But no, what I'm saying is but there's a market for that. So at Microsoft, and I see, so now they're not discontinuing the Xbox One S. We know that's going to be in production, and I think that's going to be like their bread and butter. I think you said that for Taylor in terms of pricing, right? And then you have the Xbox Series S, and that's kind of like the middle ground. Like, like if you want that new console gen, experience, but you don't want, all the bells and whistles. It's basically like you go out, you get, you go out, you're looking at a Mercedes Benz, you don't want that M5, I'm sorry,
I feel
BMW.
like some people on here wanted to release at 600, so this way they could come back and be like, "Yo, look at that! They did 600."
No, I'm at that. No,
Xbox.
I will take $600.
I'm not saying you, Forte. I just left.
No, I'm literally at that point right now for Xbox. I want to see the world burn around this because everybody's been coming at me saying this can't happen, and trust me, I don't want it to happen. But the fact of the matter is, people are discounting that these systems. There is nothing you can buy on the market in a PC realm that can even come close to this price point. You literally got to spend $1,000 or more to even come close to this. And even then, you don't even have the same hardware that's going to be available till later this year, or probably, God forbid, next year, that's even going to be produced on a PC level that's going to be able to take advantage of what these systems are going to do. So that's another thing that people got to think about.
And let me add, it can happen as well. I mean, nobody wants it to be 600. Nobody wants anything to be 600. I want them all to be 299.
Yes, I want it to be free.
I'm buying both of them. So if you think I really want to spend $1,200 on two consoles, come on. I want them to be 299. I'm buying Xbox Series X and PS5, but I think Microsoft can get away with 600 for the top premium experience because of the fact that they have the Series S being the affordable one. If they didn't have it, they couldn't do it.
Exactly.
But because the rumor is they're releasing two consoles, they can get away with whatever they want on Xbox Series X.
Foxy, why would you release an Xbox Series S if the Xbox Series X is going to be competitive in pricing?
Exactly.
Right?
It doesn't hold water to have two SKUs.
Why would you do that? Like why?
And bear in mind, there is no specification difference between the PS5 digital and the standard, apart from the optical drive. But you got to remember, when developers are developing for both those systems, there is no alteration to make. The only thing is, do you want it to deliver digitally, or shall we print discs? With the Series S, scaling involved, lots of it.
People are asking about the Series S, like why would they have two SKUs? And the only thing that I could think of, and it's something I thought about a couple weeks back, is for people who watch this show, Mooch has said it, other panel members have said it. Day one launch of new systems, the hardcore Bison. It's all about the hardcore. They go in, they want the power, they want the new experiences and all that. I think what Xbox is trying to do here with a lower price point, and I think it's lower than what, Foxy, I respect you, brother. We've talked in the past, all that good stuff. I think it's lower than what you're thinking the Series S is going to be.
600. I don't think it's 600.
No, the Series S. All right.
I
think
it's
going to be $5.
You think that's going to be 299? You think it's going to be less than 349?
I think more like 299. Yeah, and here's the reason why, though. Here's the reason why.
40p with 60 frames per second, 120 frames per second.
Community to buy in earlier. I think when it comes down to it on the business side of things, because, when it comes to the more casual gamers, they're like, oh, I'm going to wait for a sale. I'm going to wait for the price to drop before I go in on that next thing. And I personally think, this is just my opinion, guys. This is what I have been thinking, is that they might come in with that lower system to try to entice the casual gaming community to invest sooner than they normally would on a new console. That's what I think they're trying to do.
They don't want to do that. Microsoft said they have to.
Companies lie to people all the time. Let's not act like.
I don't think they're lying.
Let me just say, Microsoft has repeatedly said they're not rushing the Xbox community. They're saying happily play on your One X's and your One S's and upgrade.
They're trying to look pro-consumer, bro.
Yeah, but
it's about that mind share, man.
I respect you too, but I'm going to take it from the official horse's mouth than your opinion, if you don't mind.
Right.
Okay.
Love it.
Well, let me do a quick.
I mean, we can agree to disagree. It's all good. It's not like we're going to hate each other.
Wrap up.
Yeah,
I'm going to give you the mic. Let me just, Mr. Mirko says, why on earth would the market leader follow the brand that's in a distant third? Jez Corden was saying today on their show, Xbox will probably go first. I agree with Jez as well on that. Shout out to Slow-Mo Backslap. He says, this is, and Forte, please put your seatbelt on. He says, this is a daily reminder that Forte is wrong on the Xbox Series X.
Wow.
Xbox same price first, and literally anything he says about how good Destiny is. Shout out to Slow-Mo Backslap.
Oh, he frauding right now.
Destiny is good.
That's the only game. He only saying that because he finally found a game that's going to replace that dead game called Division, called Rogue Company that he's been playing.
Wow. So
now he wants to take shots at Destiny because he don't have to play it anymore because he found something else.
Let me just say to Xbox though, the reason why I say what I say is because there's going to be limited manufacturing runs, okay? Because we've come out of we're still in a pandemic, right? But they're able to produce as many consoles as they'd like. Neither Microsoft nor Sony. There's component shortages that we're going to experience as well. It happened with Nintendo. It's going to happen with Microsoft and Sony, right? In a period of time. Okay, so they're going to have a limited run for the first phase of launch consoles. Okay, so the prices will not come in cheap at that stage. What will happen is when they replenish stock. Once they replenish stock and they've sold, say, 10 million each, then you'll start seeing. After 1 year, you'll start seeing $50 price drops, $100 price drops, whoever wants to go the most competitive. But to be honest with you, Microsoft have Game Pass. They don't really need to worry about discounting Xboxes because they're making the money back in subscriptions. That's why the Xbox Series X can be expensive because it's literally being funded by Game Pass. They want reoccurring revenue. They don't care about these one-off console sales.
All right, well, check this out, Foxy. I guess in sort of like a rebuttal, I feel like I'm turning into Mooch right now using that word. But in terms of a rebuttal, like you said, you want to take it straight from the horse's mouth. Well, Phil Spencer did basically state that when it came to manufacturing these new consoles, he is incredibly confident with this. He acted like there was really no kind of like sidestep or any kind of shortness in their expectations when it came to these consoles and how many would be out at launch.
Oh, but it's Phil.
Yeah, but
you remember what he said about the Sony event? He also said, he said very comfortable with Xbox Series X after the Sony event, and then we saw what Microsoft produced, and there wasn't much comfortable there.
And then right after that, he said, "I'm more excited for the things we didn't show." I was like, "Oh, okay.
Not that again."
I'm just talking about in terms of the consoles being ready because everybody's saying shortages.
Look, I think the system
and PlayStation came out and they were kind of like, "Yeah, guys, kind of hold expectations." So and then Phil Spencer came out and was like, "Nah, I think we're good. We're rolling right along."
Let me tell you something. Next,
no, he said he doesn't expect any delays.
Let me tell you something, Xbox, because this is a bet that I still have with Slow-Mo going on because we talked about my whole like I said
about gambling.
Yes, we gamble.
Yeah, Brad, Brad,
we're like Russian roulette over there.
You know what rhymes with Brad? Craps.
Yeah, exactly. So me and Slow-Mo made a bet over this holiday, and I based my bet with him saying that Microsoft was going to sell more consoles over this holiday because of what Sony said, where they said they were going to have limited supply when it came to the system, and Microsoft didn't say they were going to have that. So all you can do is go off the information you had. I even told Slow-Mo, I said, this is a bet I might lose now because Sony came out recently and said they doubled and tripled their manufacturing and they're going to have up to 15 million systems to sell by the end of the first quarter. I was like, well, if that's the case, Microsoft and Sony are kind of dead even. So it just comes down to which system are going to produce more. And I think when it came to us,
it's all PR talk. They're smoking each other. They're smoking each other out of their caves.
That's right. That's 100%. Let me do this. I want to get to our another topic here, guys. We have spent an hour on that one. Let me just say shout out to Mr. Miracle again. He says shout out to Phil Spencer. He put. He walked into Devolver Digital offices and picked Carrion over Fall Guys. He's a true visionary. Shout out to Predator.
Carrion is a great game, man.
Carrion is a very good game. Yes. I agree. Predator H2O says, do you think, and shout out to Pred, he says, do you think CD Projekt Red will do something for Series X reveal since they delayed the game? Now, I think what he means is since they delayed Halo, will CD Projekt Red's game, Cyberpunk 2077, be that fill-in?
Well, Xbox, like they had to deal with the limited edition 1X Cyberpunk and everything like that. I think that's what he's kind of hinting to. Like they did the whole limited edition console, but then they delayed the game. So are they going to make it up, somehow when it comes to the Series X?
Some of the people in your chat, they're very hilarious. I'm being really entertained.
Oh yeah, welcome to Crossfire. This is like,
I was just gonna say, welcome to Crossfire, bro.
No, it's very entertaining stuff. Keep it up, guys.
Shout out to Gemini J. Oh crap, go ahead.
I want to just say something real quick. Like the delusion that some Xbox fans is real. There's only a certain amount of gamers that game on console. Let's just say 250 million. Casuals don't buy consoles day one, no matter the price, right? And a casual point is that $199 price that those PS4s and that SAD edition sold for. So launching something at $300 isn't going to entice a casual. Microsoft's idea for casuals is, hey, play our shit on your phone. All right, like that's their enticement for casuals.
They want that casual too.
If people aren't just going to, 113, 114 million PS4 owners, they aren't just going to get up and switch to Xbox because they've got some low rent, low budget
$100
games in
cheaper.
Game Pass. Exactly. There, I mean, like the delusion is completely real. Look, for the last 3 years, Xbox has had the most power, the least expensive, Game Pass, game gifting, play anywhere, xCloud for the last year. And what happened? They sold 17,000 units last month.
They did 17,000 last year was in beta.
Well, they
what
did
are you talking about,
17,000. 17,000 units. How the hell?
Xbox, his numbers
sell
do
17,000 units in your home country.
I know you're saying with beta.
Amount of people. He threw that in there, but there's a selective amount of people that
doesn't matter. I mean, look, we haven't heard. We haven't heard anything since
matter. It's only numbers, man.
Well, listen. The whole xCloud thing, that whole bullshit about 2 billion gamers, it's nonsense. The only people that I see pimping xCloud are ones that are already in the ecosystem. They're not gaining anything, right? They're like, hey, look at me playing on my phone next to my router while I tout a 12 teraflop beast. I'm going to play on my little 5-inch phone because I'm awesome and Phil Spencer smells great. Okay, like that stuff doesn't matter. It's not adding somebody. It's not adding somebody to Xbox. It's not. It's somebody that's already there.
Can I just say this? There's probably a lot of people listening to us and thinking, my God, they hate Xbox. Or maybe I do. Maybe I hate Xbox. Let me tell you something. I'm buying the Xbox Series X with my own cash. No one's sending it to me for free. So that's anti-productive if I don't want them to do well.
Foxy, you want to buy me one?
Oh, I wish I could, bro.
Take that Battletoads money that you got.
I lost my Red Cross a long time ago.
Yeah, I figure I'd try, man.
Let me do this, guys.
Regret what you don't try.
I think Crap made an outstanding finishing statement. I really did. That was really a lot of fun. But let me just do this really quick. I want to read these super chats, and I do want to get to our next big topic. It is a large topic. So Gemini J says, Fox, will they reveal the PS5 September 9th, the 30th anniversary? So, Fox, hold on to that thought for a second. Viper XT says Game Pass.
30th anniversary of what?
I believe he means the 30th anniversary. Yeah, that's actually a really good point. Was it of PS2? Is it of PS1? I don't know. Gemini J, just tell us in the chat, and I'll get back to the question. Viper XT says Game Pass and digital only sales is the reason the Series S could be as low as $299. You are automatically locked into the ecosystem. Absolutely. And then shout out to Jose Cruz, who just says, keep it up. Jose, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Viper X says xCloud is aimed at the Asian mobile market. Well, I think that we've heard that like South Korea is looking forward to it. That's a huge mobile area, and that's one of the first places that they launched their beta.
Doesn't it sound weird though that we all use this? Like, well, finally, Xbox is in China. They're going to sell a ton. Didn't sell anything. Game Pass is in Japan now. That's really going to set things on fire because they're going to love it. Didn't sell. I think they sold 10 Xboxes that month. Like, I mean,
it's awesome. You're stating all these quotes that I never said.
What point? I'm not talking about just you specifically. I'm just saying quotes that are around that people really kind of.
Well, I can't sign off on
this will be
quotes, man.
I'm not asking you to. This will be this. This will help this. This this will the Series S will win the console. Man. Shut up. Did the SAD win the console war? Did the S win the console? No. Did the X win the console war? People hyping these things as being $199 and $399. I've seen that around plenty. Like, you're going to be sadly disappointed when it's $599 or $499 and probably $399, right? Like,
I'm starting to come around.
It could be, but still, but people were originally saying $199 for that, even, right?
No,
like
that'd be too low,
that's insane.
No,
we got hyped up.
I'd say $299 because it's diskless, and Microsoft don't have to pay, retailers any money.
If you're an Xbox fanboy hyping up power, right, and there's plenty of them doing that, but you also see the Xbox fanboys who are only going to get the 12 teraflop one still hype up the 4 teraflop one that's the weakest of the next gen consoles, and the reasoning behind that is because they think it's going to outsell the PS5. But then on the backside of that, they claim they don't care about sales to begin with. So it's all very ironic. And to me, I just think that it doesn't really matter because the S didn't sell, the SAD didn't sell, the X didn't sell. Like that stuff, and the SAD and the X, 1X, are already discontinued.
Yeah.
Like I've never seen anything like it.
And I know you've been hearing it. I know you've been hearing it around. But the reason why, like when it comes down to it, whether I get the PS5 or I get the Series X, myself, I'm a hardcore. I want that power, right? The reason why the Series S, I'm like, yo, that's a good idea. Is I'm thinking of the people that that aren't going to pay that amount of money. I
want to see your favorite thing do well. Get in. Human nature.
I just think it makes it more accessible to people with a smaller wallet. I like that.
Also,
I wish PS5 did the same freaking thing, man.
Yeah, can we agree $299 entry Xbox next gen and then top end $599 because that makes it exactly half price. $299, $599.
I would.
You can't have it both ways. You can't have $299 and
I'd push
$399 or $499. You can't have both ways. You can't have a $499 and a $299, or you can't have a.
Why not?
I don't think so. The disparity is not large enough. I mean, what's the point?
Yeah. That's the thing. The disparity is
$200
in question. Well, that's not really a lot, especially when you're talking about trading in your current console. Like I said all the time, and Forte's here right now. Forte will tell you at a low, your Xbox One X is probably going to get you about $200 trade-in. At a high, maybe $250 if Microsoft.
I mean, right now it gets you for $180. So
there you go. Right. Well, so
right now without any deals,
and that's without the deals coming out. So you're going to get at least $250. So I have to agree a little bit more with Foxy. And don't get me wrong, Xbox. I see where your numbers are coming from.
It's all good, bro.
But if you have an Xbox, you have an Xbox One X. If Forte turns around and says, "Hey guys, guess what? I got inside word. You're getting $250 for that trade-in." Well, I mean, you're crazy to buy a Series S and not a Series X at that point. You're going to be walking out with a $250 or $300 new console.
Yeah, think about it. If all you have to do is pay $100
I don't know, paying $50 for quote unquote next gen and no load times, man.
Remember this though. If all you have to do is pay $100 more for 8 more T-flops and better ray tracing,
it's a no-brainer. Yeah, it's a no-brainer.
Why would you settle for less just for £100? I mean, let's be honest. £100 might have sounded like a lot 10 years ago, but man, that don't even do your shopping these days. You don't even do your food shopping.
You can't do a week's of food shopping for that. No, absolutely not.
Exactly. $100 is nothing these days. That's sneakers. Not even amazing.
It's not even sneakers. It's not even
It's not even amazing.
It's not.
Exactly.
It's not even Jordan flip flops.
Right?
$100. You know,
Facts,
$100 is you getting drunk and regretting it tomorrow, and that's where it went.
Yeah.
$100. It goes so quickly, bro.
Shout out to Viper XT. Comes back and says Microsoft will never outsell Sony. That's why they have to try software hardware combo approach to close the gap. At least let me do this, and I will start with our great Xbox defense lawyer, who's not only a defense lawyer for Redmond, but he's also, I believe, the fourth unknown Battletoad himself. Xbox, and I'm going to start with. Wait, we got to talk about. So Battletoads had a very quiet, and shout out to Crap for bringing this up to me. In DMs, we were talking about Battletoads coming out, and it was such a quiet release. It was not loud. It wasn't this. It wasn't that. It got a little bit more hype as the reviews were starting to come out, but it was a very, very stealth release, which is generally not a good sign. Xbox, you've been very, very loud about how great this game may be, because, you didn't play it at the time. Now you have.
No, I was excited to get into it, man.
Absolutely. And I watched your stream. Along with shout out to J-Dubs. J-Dubs also did a stream at the same time. I was going back and forth between you two, and believe me, it was very interesting to listen to the different dynamics and how you both were receiving the game. But Xbox,
I was tearing it up, bro. I was tearing it up.
You were enjoying it, but this guys, this segment is not just about Battletoads. This segment is about Battletoads and Game Pass, because they seem what the outcome has happened here. And I want Xbox to take the mic in a second because I'm interested in his opinion on the game, but. What is seemingly happening here is that games like Battletoads are coming out, and games like Grounded, they're getting rated. They're somewhere usually between 65 and 75, respectively. And then what ends up happening is the minute that happens, everybody on one side says, well, it's in Game Pass. I'm paying for it anyway. Who cares? And I feel like that's all of us just letting them go. We're passing the buck on. Now, Xbox, let's talk about the game first, and then let's talk about how games like this may be fun. They're hashtag fun, but at the same time, they may be giving people at this point in time, after 2 years of being a part of Game Pass, maybe a bad taste in their mouth when it comes to the quality of games coming out of first party for the foreseeable future. But Xbox, let's talk about Battletoads first.
All right. Well, yeah, I see you segmenting like first party and all that. We all know, like, day and date, Halo Infinite was going to be in Game Pass, and unfortunately that was delayed. But
that is unfortunate.
That is what it is. So the game Battletoads. First off, shout out to Delilah Studio, because this whole thing is hand drawn. The art style might not be for everybody.
It's very nice though.
It's nice. You guys know me, nice. Like Battletoads.
There you go, Forte.
I was with it.
Is that the last time forever now?
No, dude, I've been going nuts the last couple days. But to me, it's a lot of fun. Unfortunately, I had to restart the game 3 times, and it's not for any type of performance or anything like that. Like, I went in solo. You saw the stream, and then I went in multiplayer with the twins. So I had the 12-year-olds playing with me, so that was a full 3-toad experience, but they didn't experience it from where I wanted to bring them back to the beginning. And then late last night I got into the game with snaps. I love the art style. I really dig the combat and kind of like the animation changes and all the different animation changes for the different types of combos. Like let's see, Rash, he'll pull out a dead fish and whip it around him, right? That's one of them. But if you hit X one more time and then hit B, he drops an arcade box down, and it just starts doing massive damage to all the enemies there. And then the arcade box blows up and it clears all the enemies away from you. Each one of the Toads has those kind of combinations with different animations and stuff. I know there's people out there that are just constantly hitting the X button and thinking that's it. There's more to it than that. X is your basic attack. Y, you knock them up in the air, and then B is your more powerful attack, and you can make combos out of that. Sense of humor. Again, might not be for everybody, but it's like they went right into my head when it came to this sense of humor. I have a very kind of like extreme, possibly dorky
X-Bot,
sense of humor
let me ask you,
in a lot of
you've
aspects.
played it so much, so a lot of
and
people
seeing Rash in an adult diaper at one point in time and stuff like that, really entertaining to me. And I love the fact, I know people are saying like 3 to 4 hours long. Again, I had to restart the game 3 times. But I like the different aspects of gameplay. Like, you got your beat 'em up, but then of course you got Turbo Tunnel, which is your 3D kind of like dodging walls, kind of like Temple Run type feel, but more you can control your character more. Then they have kind of like that Space Harrier type look or Geometry Wars type mechanic. They have different hacking to open doors while you're in that beat 'em up mode. There's a lot in this game, and I have a lot of fun. I think it's an absolute blast. I think it looks cool to me. I love the Saturday morning cartoon aspect, and I can't wait to beat it. Not only that, the difficulty definitely ramps up. I gotta shout out to developers again. They have different hacking to open doors while you're in that beat 'em up mode. Like I got hung up where in this there was that electrocution guy, and he was absolutely adamant about standing in the water that was passed in the beat 'em up area while there was 2 kind of like snow cone enemies on each end. And every time I went after the electrocution guy, those snow cone guys would shoot at me. If I went and tried to clear out the snow cone guys, like I just got mauled. Like their attention to the types of enemies that they put into the level to make it challenging really ramped up. I'm having a blast, bro.
Well, real quick,
thanks for the spoilers. No, I don't have to play it.
That was pretty I was gonna say snow cone.
I can't hear anybody. Hold on.
Snow cone guys.
Yeah, can you guys hear my voice?
Yeah.
Okay,
I hear you.
I was trying to ask Xbot a question halfway through that. I think Xbot muted everybody on the podcast and was like, "This is my time."
Like I had to disconnect and come back. Sometimes that happens with me.
I was like, "Wait a minute!"
I'm talking over. He was so excited. He's been talking about this game for years.
I was
talking over you guys, I apologize.
That's okay. No, it's all right.
Xbot, you were like in the zone.
He was in the zone.
Yeah, he's like Battletoads.
It was almost like scripted. But I was going to say to Xbot, one of the things I'm hearing from many folks is that the writing, and you said that you liked it. I was hearing that that's one of the weaker spots of the game. The writing in it, yes, it's not that maybe somebody may not find that humorous, but it wasn't very
cheesy.
Yeah, it was extremely cheesy.
But you gotta think about the type of person I am. I love Saturday Night Live. I am a huge fan of Will Ferrell. When it comes to like Step Brothers and the other guys and stuff, I like cheesy humor. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, so that caters to me.
Xbot,
does it make you happy?
Yes, I smile the entire time.
That's right.
That counts for
and and Foxy, well said, agreed. But okay, so Foxy, let me ask you, and then I'll go to Xbot after this. Foxy, what's your take on my initial stance of now we've seen things going into such as Grounded, we've seen Bleeding Edge, we've seen Battletoads, and we know that we're not going to get anything major from Microsoft's first-party studios like Avowed or some of the other Hellblade 2 till possibly the end of 2022 or mid-2023. What does this say for Game Pass for people that are maybe contemplating buying in?
Okay, well, you see Game Pass, I'm not going to front. I've been a subscriber to Game Pass for 7 months now.
Yes.
And I tend to use, I'm old school. I like to own my games physically, but I tend to use Game Pass for the titles that I wouldn't buy. Games that I wouldn't immediately rush out and say, yeah, I've got to own this. So I find the Game Pass system great for that. But, at the end of the day, Microsoft are using Game Pass. It's their vehicle. They can't just jump from the current gen and abandon it completely because their bread and butter is through Game Pass on those systems. So I understand this whole 2-year we'll get games out to you. But if you're happy with, and I'm going to admit this, I do believe some multi-plat games are going to run better on the Series X. They will. They have to. By default, it's 12 T-flops. If it doesn't, there's a problem. Okay? So I do believe that. So if you want superior multi-plat third-party games and you're happy to play enhanced older generation. You know, they got 4 generations of Xbox to play with. If you're happy with that for 2 years, then Xbox Series X is, I say, a good purchase. But if you demand, well, like me, if you demand exclusives day one, because I'm trained like that. It's the exclusive that draws me to buying the console as an impulse purchase. It's always been that way. I bought all Saturn. I bought the Saturn. Not many people bought the Saturn. Dreamcast. I bought them all based on their exclusives on day one. I chose Sega over Nintendo sometimes.
Well, Foxy, real quick, let's just be real here. When we put all the cards on the table in terms of first party, and again, you know, Xbox took the huge hit here, but when you look across the board in first party, this new generation coming up is pretty freaking dismal when it comes to options, you know, day one when you get these consoles.
What are you saying that like as a sweeping statement across the board?
Yeah,
does that include all the
like day one, you know, again, you know, you're going to go in, you're going to buy it day one before the Halo Infinite delay.
Well,
it was Halo.
They have 2. A minimum, though. That's minimum. 2 big ones minimum.
Well, I'm not dealing with rumors right now. I'm dealing with exactly.
That's not a rumor. I can name them.
All right, but does everybody else know? Spider-Man and Astrobots Playground.
No. That's packing stuff. That's free with every PlayStation.
I mean, well, it's first party. That's what I put with it.
Well, it's free though. It's free. It's built into the system. I wouldn't class that as a game that you'd purchase. Yeah. So you got Spider-Man and Gran Turismo 7, or what's the other one? Demon Souls? That's right.
Demon Souls.
All right. Those 3 could, or at least 2 of those could. Well, no,
you said
2 of those will. 2 of those will. But 3 of those.
They announced that
3 of those could be launch day, but I know
but
for a fact.
Did they announce that?
No, but they haven't because they're not ready to. But I can tell you for a fact, out of those 3 games I mentioned, 2 of those will be in the launch window.
All right. Well, again, you know, going from the horse's mouth, like you said before, I'm just going from that, and you know, from that, when you look at it, you know,
I was somewhere yesterday where I can tell you this is the case.
Well, here's my question, though. Not my question, a statement. The game Demon Souls was just recently rated, I believe, in South Korea, and there's
Japan too,
right, and there's track evidence here. Okay, there's records that show The Last of Us 2 and a bunch of other games that after they were rated in Japan and South Korea, that they released within 4 to 6 or 8 weeks after.
The kind of funny games guys said that the goal was always for them to have that as a release game as well. So, I mean, here's the thing. Exclusives sell, right? Again, Sony had exclusives on the PS4, and it sold pretty well in the NPD, even though the PS5 is coming out in a few months. The Switch had Paper Mario or whatever, and plus they got a bunch of other crap in the top 10 still. So, you know, it sold. Xbox had nothing, and it sold 17,000 units in the entire month of July. That's like lower than Wii U numbers. I know that the next one's coming, but I find it hard to believe that, you know, of the 41 million Xbox One owners right now with bated breath are like, oh my God, I can't get an Xbox One to play this. I mean, if they had something to actually play, people would most likely go out there and buy it. Now, listen, I bought an Xbox One. You want to know why? Because you know what they had announced for the first year within itself? Forza Motorsport 5, Dead Rising 3, Killer Instinct, right. Titanfall, Rise Son of Rome, Sunset Overdrive, Forza Horizon, and the Master Chief Collection. 7 pretty big, huge games within that first launch year.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay. Yeah. That's why I bought an Xbox One instead of a PS4 at launch. PS4 had Infamous that came out, I think, around the same time as Titanfall. And then they had Knack and Killzone, which so those didn't interest me. That's why I didn't buy PlayStation 5.
I agree with you. PlayStation 4 had a terrible start. In terms, I mean, don't get me wrong.
Overdrive didn't come out until 2014. Man.
That's what I said. It came out. It came within the launch year.
It came late. It was meant to be a launch time, wasn't it? But they
announced it at the E3, but it came out, I think, in September.
I'll agree with you. I've said this many times on my own videos. I agree with you. I was envious of Xbox One for the first year or two. I totally agree.
I mean,
that
crap.
PS4 just weren't ready with the games. They showed a lot of stuff at events like Order, but we had to wait for the Order. Drive Club got delayed, and when it launched, it was terrible on multiplayer. You know, Uncharted didn't come till quite late into the cycle. You know, all the big games started coming like in the second year, the proper big games. Do you know what I mean? While that time Halo was already out there, you know, the Halo Master Chief Collection. They had by then had 2 Forzas. It was like, yeah, I was envious. I think a lot of people were. If anyone says that the Xbox One's launch titles, you know, weren't as good as PS4's first year, I don't know what they're talking about.
And I put 500 hours on Titanfall. You know what I mean? Like that was my game. So yeah.
Go ahead,
crap to your point. You know, we talk about MPD sometimes. That's a time that is a time where Xbox was actually competitive in terms of sales with consoles. I mean, they at certain times were actually outselling the PlayStation 4 and MPD.
Yeah,
because
the last time they did that was 2016. I think Gears of War 4.
Yeah,
that was the last one. You know, because again, that wasn't
Xbox
Game Pass.
One dried up in 2015. I remember.
Yeah, that was when they quit. Like,
it was happening.
Yeah, that was when they canceled a bunch of games. 2015, also closed some studios in 2015. That's pretty much when and that's why I thought they would have a lot of games going into next generation, because Phil in 2017 was like, we signed a bunch of deals, we've got huge games coming, but you know it's going to take a few years, and you know, so we're not going to announce anything just
yet. When did they say that? When did they say that? 2017.
He said that in 2017.
And they're saying it again now. They're saying it again now. 2 years time, you're going to have games.
And not only that, but I got to point this out, because I bought a PlayStation 3 day one and I bought an Xbox 360 day one. It was kind of interesting because the 360 came out a year before, and then I got real heavy into Gears and stuff like that. So it was great. I bought a PS3. I didn't use it much at first. But then towards the end of the generation, they came out with so many exclusives that you had to use it. You know what I mean? There was just so many interesting games. And so they really kind of they had to do that to compete, and then they ended up surpassing the 360 at the end of the generation in sales. But they had already put out so many exclusives to do that they didn't really have much to launch with the PS4, you know. So it was like kind of a weird situation. You know, I always point to the PS3 as doing what Xbox should have done this generation. You know, you start badly, which PS3 did, high price, you know, no games. And they managed to turn it around within that same generation within a 7-year period. I thought Microsoft, with their resources, buy games, do whatever you have to do to get the game situation right.
Their situation crap was mid-generation to stop everything and get us on services.
Yeah, exactly.
So they did the same thing, though. Do you know what? Microsoft have a track record in doing this. If you look back here, the OG Xbox, remember that? They gave up on that after 4 years, totally gave up. Then they released a 360, which was great until they introduced Kinect, and then their focus was lost. And then they released
on Kinect straight away.
Then they drop Xbox One. Focus is still on Kinect, but at least you're getting games for 2 years, 2.5 years. Okay, and then they drop Kinect, and then now they're telling us no exclusives for 2 years. It's like, I'm not being funny. I want Xbox to succeed, but how much disappointment can you take?
Yeah.
How do you like here's the thing, guys, okay? And I point to this fact a lot. It takes a lot of R&D and time to plan consoles. I don't care if it's a revision, I don't care if it's a next gen console or whatever. Since 2016, if Lockhart is real, which it sounds like it is, the Series S, that would be 5 consoles that they've announced since 2016. But you don't have any games ready to go with your next gen console. Like, they've had to know that the Series X is going to launch for at least 4 years, and yet they have nothing ready. And I know that Halo got pushed back or whatever, but when has Microsoft ever just launched with one game? Right? They always have launched with multiple games. Like, I don't understand that thinking of putting all your eggs in one basket. How is that a good sign of leadership? Speaking of leadership,
Microsoft are like that kid in the playground. You know, the kid that you push that kid or something because they were cheeky, and they point at you, and all they keep saying is, just you wait. But they never come. They never ever get there. They never get revenge. It's just a threat. Just wait. That's what it feels like. Microsoft sometimes.
You
Wait.
You guys were mentioning PlayStation launch titles. There's also, and I understand they're not first party, so maybe that's why you guys left them out. But we also have Godfall, and I think Godfall, I do think is a big. And I'll be honest with you, it
doesn't impress me. It doesn't impress me.
I'm a Souls.
Thank you, Foxy.
Well, I'm
Thank
a Souls
so much,
fan, and I know that it's not necessarily a Souls type game. But the enemy attacks, the boss fights look to be very Souls-like, where it's you versus one enemy.
A game that I'll probably get a little bit of shit for is Kenna Bridge of Spirits. I thought looked pretty good.
No,
that's also gonna. It's also going to be a launch game as well. So I mean,
where are you getting these release dates from?
Well, Kenna game is dropping on PS4, so it's going to be
a PS4 release as well. Yeah,
they're giving you a free. Yeah, they're giving you a free upgrade as well.
Yeah.
So they're doing super smart delivery. Have you guys heard of that?
Yes.
It's a PlayStation thing where you purchase the game once and then give you the better version.
I thought that was exclusive to one platform crap.
The one
no.
The one thing that really disappointed me was that
this is super smart.
Deathloop's been postponed to next year, which, don't get me wrong, is kind of a bummer as far as launch, but that gives you something mid next year that's going to be exclusive to PlayStation, and of course PlayStation will be touting that. So I mean, I thought that, and we kind of changed subjects. I changed the topic line here because we did change subjects, but I do want to get back. Crap, you did play Battletoads.
Yeah.
So what was your take on Battletoads? Xbot did an outstanding job. Covering his...
I thought it was the whole time I'm playing it, okay, and I put some hours into it, a couple hours or so.
Yeah.
I just felt like this is just a Game Pass fodder to me. You know what I mean? Like the whole time I'm playing it, I'm like, I don't understand what the point is of releasing a Battletoads game, which really thrives on co-op, and not having an online co-op option. I thought that was a huge problem. Like, I don't understand it. This is your whatever. I mean, it's a Microsoft owned IP. So, like, you kind of knew something bad was coming because Microsoft didn't show it off in July. They basically stopped talking about it for, a year and a half? I mean, honestly, to me, the game moves slow. And I'm not talking about the characters themselves. I'm just talking about the movements in general seem very slow when you're doing them. Like, everything, it's like a sloth. You know what I mean? Like, the punch, like, everything in it just seemed really slow to me. For some reason, they put these real cheesy mini games in there that really are annoying. And like the little hey, let's get the electricity flowing. That, like, why like the punching can be kind of fun.
Yeah.
Hey, the beat 'em up part can be fun. So let's stop you from doing the fun.
Crap, what was the problem with all the mini games? I heard it was mini game after mini game.
It was mini game after. Yeah, there was a lot of mini games that are just cheesy and kind of pointless.
Can I let you into just a little insight when it comes to those mini games? Because I know what you're talking about, and I got used to it being a gamer all the way back to like Atari, and basically going into Nintendo. That whole hack the door situation and stuff. One thing I will say. And crap, like I would suggest trying this out. With couch co-op, 3 people have to work together on those things.
I got nobody to couch co-op with, man.
Whoa, what is couch co-op? It's 2020.
I haven't done that in this whole generation.
The funny thing about that, when Halo 5 came out without split screen, that was one of the biggest negatives. People were like, "Damn it, we want split screen. We want to sit on the couch with each other and play a game."
Small section. I mean, 2015, a small section of the internet.
Maybe like 5 people.
Dude, I had fun.
I get it, but I'm just saying, not just the mini games. I think more or less like there was a couple times in some of the levels where, okay, you have to get the electricity to line up right and the little things. I hate that kind of stuff, right? And then you finish that one, you do some more beat 'em up, which is kind of decent, and then you got to go do that thing again, right? Like, I just didn't understand the whole point of that, right? And I just like between that and the lack of speed. Like, for me, it's like a 6 out of 10. It's typical. And that sucks. You know what I mean? Like, I knew kind of pretty much what I was getting into, like I knew what it was going to be, but I didn't think that the actual beaten up part would be fun, which it's pretty fun. But why do they stop that? Is it to pad the time? Is it like, I don't understand what the deal's with that? Because it's actually pretty decent when you're actually.
It's a low budget game. That's all. It's just.
I get. I mean,
the different games, the different gameplay types. It's an homage to the original Battletoads. Like maybe not those little hacking for the doors and stuff.
I beat the arcade and
going,
stuff.
It's
The
fan
reviews are
service.
saying otherwise.
It's just
I
fan
mean-
service. They wanted it. You got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess.
So basically, what you're saying is it breaks up the flow of the game. Then, like,
you know what they have.
The strong part of the game is to beat them up, like you said, right?
Yeah, like the actual fighting is fun. It's good doing the combos and stuff. Like that's pretty good.
And then
But,
the pacing, well,
yeah, the pacing. Like then they keep breaking it up to do this or that's. Like for
I
me,
don't think it should be judged. You know what? I think we're judging. Well, I'm not, but I think the game is being judged not by you guys alone, but where I've heard people talking about. I think it's being judged unfairly. It's not a big budget game that you look at and say, "I expect this and that." It's fan service. It was delivered in I imagine a short amount of time. It doesn't look like a pretty complicated.
5 years it was
production.
announced. 5 years ago.
That's
just
just stalling. That's
5 years
that's not
was
actual-
teased.
That's not. But I wouldn't believe that's development time. That's just
No, that's what
from
it was
announcement.
teased 5 years. So
Yeah. I think
development
it's
time
announcement,
maybe shortly after that.
stalling, and then they said, "Shall we do it? Yeah, let's do it." Bang, bang, they do it. It's out. You know, it's like Cuphead. Cuphead's a great game, but it's hardly. I don't think it should be judged like you judge a Ghost of Tsushima or you judge
These games are
Quantum
judged.
Break. You know what I mean?
Yes, these games are judged according to their scope and their size. That's the one thing I think.
Yeah.
That's why I see a lot of people on
But,
Twitter saying that it's
another
beaten
thing-
days, but they're saying it's beaten days gone crap. and
Another
that's
thing
not
that
a fair. That's not fair.
I mean,
How much is it? Out of curiosity, how much does it cost?
I think it's $20. I think it's
That's
20.
cheap.
It
I
is.
mean, it's
It's
cheap. It's cheap. What do you
$20.
expect?
Yeah.
It's
So,
a
I
curry.
mean,
It's a curry.
I'd pay $20 for it. No
for
doubt.
me personally though, it's like it's a little bit odd that a lot of the things that Phil likes, you know, like he would wear the Crackdown shirt and people were like, "A Crackdown's coming," and that game was bad. And you know, he would wear a Battletoads shirt and Battletoads coming, and you know, Battletoads was bad. But, Phil Spencer has to realize. Like, and maybe he's done that. I don't know, but at some point, it's really about the consumer and not himself. Okay, like to me, I hope that he understands that sometime because
let's praise
sounds like
praise
something
where
I
praise
said on
is
Brad
due
the
though,
other
because
day.
Yeah,
let's give
you
praise
did
where
4K.
praise is due, because you know what, we talk about the games that aren't really up to par, but Flight Simulator is fucking, excuse my language, amazing. I want that on Xbox Series X.
It is, but
I'm
I mean,
not
at the same time, Foxy.
What
but
that is, that's chilling out with your favorite.
Is that
accessory,
really?
you know
But I
what
mean, is
And
that really?
Hey,
Is that a
Mooch,
game
Foxy's
though?
breaking up. I can't hear him.
Yeah, but it's like
It's been a
it's
game
like-
for years.
it's
too.
like No Man's Sky to me. It's about discovery, just flying.
There you
discovery.
go.
What
but
game
you
is
can
this?
get out in No Man's
Well,
Sky.
that's the thing. I mean, flights.
Yeah,
don't
but
get
it
me
looks
wrong.
beautiful.
I don't want to
looks
take
beautiful.
anything
sure
away.
that-
I don't want to take
Hey,
anything away
can we
from
get
the
a game
beauty.
that looks like that with a story and some gameplay?
Exactly.
That's
Like,
what I'm asking.
Exactly.
Game Pass. It's Game Pass, isn't it? It's Game Pass. You're
So
not buying it.
I don't play on
Listen,
PC.
Two of
so-
the best games this generation, all right, for Xbox are Sea of Thieves and Flight Simulator, and both of them. One is a water, and the water in Sea of Thieves is breathtaking, and of course the aerial views in Flight Simulator are breathtaking. But the problem is that, and Sea of Thieves is a game at least. Flight Simulator, I have a hard time calling that a game.
It's a simulator.
It's a simulator,
simulator.
right?
But
Like
Gran
that,
Turismo is a simulator.
like Oregon Trail was more of a game. This is right. This is just you take the plane up, you take the plane down, and you see your house if they actually got it into the game. I don't understand where people are saying that this is a game. It really is more of like a flying
it's an
tutorial.
experience. It's an
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
experience.
it is a simulator to the point where the people that flew planes into the Twin Towers
But a game.
use Flight Simulator
This is
to
right. This
figure
is
out how to
just
fly
take-
commercial jets.
Oh, did they? Wow.
Yeah,
It is
it is.
it's a teaching tool. They use it in different flight schools and stuff
Game.
like that.
Yeah, no, it
I
is.
don't-
It's a simulator.
Yeah.
It really is a simulator. I mean, like I've heard people say, compare it to like Gran Turismo, say, oh, GT's a simulator, but no, like legitimately speaking, like people don't know this, like the hijackers that flew planes into the World Trade Center, they trained how to fly commercial jets on Microsoft's Flight Simulator. Like that.
Well, you know what I'm going to do? The next time I see a knife in anyone's kitchen, I'm going to dispose of it because it might stab me.
Oh my god.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, no,
You
but
do that, Foxy.
Let me just pay a little homage to the super chat here. Artemis says, so Game Pass is releasing Tell Me Why, Wasteland 3 next week, and Outer Worlds DLC releasing on September 9th. So the quality is coming. I think quality is in the eye of the beholder, but
well, I also pointed out. I also pointed out that Wasteland 3 and Outer Worlds DLC are both on PlayStation 4 as well. So
right, that
it needs to be in VR. That flight simulator needs to be in.
Well, it's
supposedly
coming in VR. It's
on
coming.
PC
Yeah.
anyway.
I can't
not
wait.
Xbox.
Bring it out. I want an Xbox VR. They need it for Series X. What a waste of power if you don't have VR on.
I agree with that. Jose
I agree.
Cruz says, love Crossfire in this panel. Thanks, Mooch. Thank you, Jose. I appreciate that super chat. Thank you. Magnificent Block says, why the chat capping? They know Scorn looks like an alien porn sim. All right, easy, magnificent. Rich D.
I don't know about that,
Shout
but
out to
okay.
Rich D, who says the One X, pardon me, didn't sell well because of bad marketing, in my opinion. Non-hardcore gamers did not know the difference between Xbox One and One X. That's an interesting thing. And do you think? Let me ask Rich D. I'll ask you a question back in the panel. Do you think Xbox Series X and Xbox Series S would lead to any sort of confusion with the casual market? Definitely not the hardcore, not the panel. I understand that you guys understand that. We're all in the know.
I don't think so.
No,
Forte,
no.
you think that's...
Because the
Okay.
price
No, because
underneath
I
each
think
of them is going to be like, oh, okay.
Well, the price is
Yeah.
definitely clear as day.
Well, most people are going to go. Nobody I know is going to go into a store and be like, "Oh, give me the $500 system," instead, unless they know what the difference in those two systems
That's
are.
correct.
Because if we go off of what Foxy was saying, that 200, that 300 to 600 price range by itself is going to be like, well, why is this one $300 more? We already get that question answered when it comes to the difference between a Switch and a Switch Lite. People are like, well, what's the difference? Well, one you can hook up to your TV and the other one you can't. Oh,
Right.
You know what? I want the one you can hook up to your TV. So I think people don't give customers enough credit for actually not wanting to spend money if they ain't got to,
That's
because
right.
that is a thing.
It's a good point.
So,
Forte.
but do you not think that 3 systems on market though? Okay, and even Xbox One X might still be on sale come November. They might not have run out of them yet, the itinerary.
Right.
But do you not think a potential 4 systems on shelves this November is not confusing to some people? I know,
Especially
I want
Foxy.
to give people credit and say
but
they're
Foxy-
intelligent, but there are some dumb schmucks out there.
But Foxy, but I've said this in the past, and I always get the thing of, well, we do it with TV sets and phones, and no one gets
But
confused.
TVs are different. TVs aren't.
do you know what I mean?
People
Talk about, well, people say with
TV.
phones.
It's like a mirror's a mirror. I mean,
People
come on,
say,
the console is
phones-
intricate.
People say
TVs don't have format that you have to.
But what about phones though?
Phones.
Yeah,
But
people with cell
phones
phones.
again, they're not really a format out there. You got people who have Android or people who have iOS. Someone picks up the wrong Android. I mean, they're still gonna be able to use it because it's Android. But consoles are different.
But
You can't
technically,
put a
Foxy,
PS4 disc into an Xbox One S. That's a real mistake. But TVs,
no, but technically with the Xbox, at least you'll still be able to play any Xbox games pretty much for the most part.
yeah, but imagine you're that kid, yeah, who's really looking forward to an Xbox Series S.
Oh yes.
You're that kid, and your mum isn't that savvy, or your dad isn't that savvy about buying consoles, and they want to surprise you. So you don't really know you're getting it. We got an idea. And then come Christmas morning, you end up with the Xbox One S.
Well,
How would you feel?
I mean, Foxy, that
Well,
what
that's
I will
interesting.
let me share this story with you, Foxy. What you're saying, because what you're describing resonates with me as a child, as little Brap when I was little Brap. Come Christmas, little Brap wanted a Transformer. God damn it, little Brap wanted Optimus Prime.
And he got a
You know what-
GoBot.
Yes, exactly, Mooch. He got a GoBot because my mom didn't know the difference, and I was mad. I had to put my mom on notice. And
That's-
little Brap eventually got his.
Brap,
Yeah,
great
he's got
analogy
Optimus
with the
Prime.
Transformers. I was trying to put something down on for the audience to understand, because when we say confusion, we don't mean people are confused. I mean, Forte just said it himself. $500, $300, people know the difference in price. I get that.
Well,
but,
listen, there is some confusing.
They don't know crap. Like Foxy said, what if your kid asked for an Xbox Series X, but your parents went out and they were like, I heard X at the end. They got an Xbox One X.
Yeah. Well, listen. Not only that,
someone says
that
in
means
the
the
chat,
person at retail ain't doing their job.
Someone said in the chat, that you could say that for iPhone 11s because there's so many variants. But you're not buying a child an iPhone 11, are you? And I've seen adults go out, they're told to buy an Apple, and they come back with an orange. So there are people who just not really up. They're not really with it. They go in there and they let the retailer sell them what they want to sell them. If they need to get rid of this stock, they'll try and sell you that stock. So you got to go in there and know what you want, because retailers will try and get rid of what they think they need to get rid of.
Yeah.
Well, not only that, but I can remember when the SAD went on sale for like, what was it, 150 or whatever it was, and actually sold. Yeah, no, it was like even less than that, and people were actually buying it. They were going up to the checkout with physical games. Right, for a console they can't use physical games. So I like, even though
that's hilarious.
Oh, it happened. In fact, multiple websites put out, a lot of people are waking up, a lot of kids are waking up with physical games for a discless console. So like that kind of stuff can happen. And I've been at it myself, where I was at a GameStop or whatever, and a GameStop employee was trying to sell someone a 2 terabyte hard drive for their Xbox One, and they're like, once you get this, you'll never need another hard drive again. Right. And I'm thinking, man, I got like 16 T-flops on mine. Like, I guess depending on what you do, but if you're a, Game Pass or, Gold subscriber, you're getting hundreds of games over the course of a generation.
Yeah, but look, I
tell people that at work
PS4 is going to have 4 platforms on sale in November as well, potentially. Slim, the Pro, the digital and the standard PS5, but they're numbered. They're just PS4 and PS5. Xbox is too close. Xbox One S, Xbox Series S. You can be more confused by Xbox. I'm sorry.
They called it the Xbox One Series X before. Didn't Major Nelson say that?
I've said it. I've made mistakes. I've said it to this day.
Yes, he did.
I've made mistakes. I've tried to say all 4 platforms in one go, and I've ended up repeating Xbox One X instead of saying Series X.
Yeah, it's quite a tongue twister when you're saying them in a row. That's for damn sure.
Especially, man. So there's no reason to suggest that someone won't walk in who's not savvy into a retail store like Game, or Walmart, and say, I want to buy little Johnny or little, Tammy, whatever her name is, this system. And the retailer goes, oh, we've got this Xbox. Oh, you must be talking about the Xbox. And they might not even know either. Some of these retailers aren't even clued up. They don't even know. You'll go in there and say, oh, I want, they'll go in there and say, what system is an exclusive PS4 game on? And they'll tell you it's on the wrong platform. They don't even know what they're selling half of these retailers.
Right.
They're there to get paid, man. They're there on some minimum wage salary. You think they give a damn to be super educated so you're happy? They're trying to be happy.
That's the thing. That's Forte. This conversation almost rivals what we had last week when we had you, and shout out to Cam from Tick Podcast. You guys were saying how, don't forget, you and Cam are totally in the know. And that's fine because you're also working at GameStop. GameStop is it's a game-focused center, right? But when you go to Walmart or Target and somebody goes, I don't know, my kid wants Xbox One, Xbox X something. You mean the Xbox One X or the Xbox Series S? I don't know. Which one? One of those. And he might give
which one can he play? He said, which one can he play Forza on? And all of do.
They all do.
So he can just do any one of them.
Right. And the employee's not always a Forte and shout out to Cam again, or Cam, you guys know and will specify to a T what that customer's kid was probably trying to parlay to the parent. But other people, like he said, are working just at Target and they're just like, dude, my lunch is in 5 minutes. Which one do you want again? Like, I'm just getting it off the shelf. I got to, ring you out. Like, it's very odd to say all these things. I was really looking forward to maybe them having, I like how they were going with the idea of series crap, but the fact that they went with Series X, Series S, Xbox One X, Xbox One S. It's extremely similar. And again, to us in the hardcore, it's not complicated. But to the
not only that,
parent,
but
it may be.
there's still redundant stockpiles of old consoles. So like I was at, you can go into some of the stores and you'll see like 1X on the shelf still, like a Scorpio edition or whatever, right? And so somebody's like, they wanted that Xbox X. Right? The Xbox X.
Okay.
Well, here you go. You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. Right. So, like there could be some. We'll have to see how it plays out. But I hope that everything just goes smooth and most of all this holiday. You know what I mean? Because it's going to be interesting to see what happens.
Crap. Let me ask you, Crap. I got a question for you. So I'm just a quick change of subject here. Is Xbox recently announced, I can't remember if it was Windows Central that announced it first, but I believe they were, that there's, they showed people were saying, wow, Mooch, did you see the new Xbox UI? And I said, well, you guys saw me tweet it. I said, I wouldn't call it new. I would call it refreshed. And it looks great. It does look great. But do you think coming out the gate, where we've seen leaks now of PlayStation 5, which finally, I gave PlayStation a lot of crap for this generation. PS3, PS4 UI, eerily similar. Yes, more polished. Yes, more crisp in the PS4, but eerily similar. Xbox is doing the same thing where PS5 is now taking their UI and it's seemingly going in a much grander step.
They wanted one that worked.
Right, right.
So I mean, they go after the PlayStation. Like I got to be honest, having an Xbox this entire generation, one of my biggest complaints is that it's been in beta the entire generation. The dashboard literally has been in beta the entire generation. Okay, and I've suffered through it to the point where I backed out of the preview program, and they don't let you back out. Like you can only drop down some tiers, right?
I'm in Delta now.
Everybody's in it because I had to factory reset my Xboxes 7 or 8 times. So I got tired of doing that, because it gets redundant. But it looks clean. I said that that was a positive tweet.
It
yesterday.
does look good. Yeah. Incoming positive tweet.
Incoming positive Xbox tweet. It looks clean. They've got some backgrounds that are able to move around or whatever.
Not necessarily themed though. It just looks like it's going to be those dynamic, just like those images.
It's such a weird thing because I have a 360 hooked up as well. Yeah. And you go on that, and it's like, you have your backgrounds and you have your little character, and they've got like these things that they interact with. Like it was so much cleaner on the 360, despite it being less powerful or whatever. Like
I like the blades, the original blades.
Everybody loved the blades. Yes.
Yeah, like I don't understand why they,
they went full Windows 8. They went Windows 8 on it, didn't they? Windows 8.
They did.
Yeah.
No, but even with the Metro tiles they had with the 360, like after they moved from the blades, were pretty good too, though.
Yes.
Oh man,
that was still.
I agree. I still like that one.
But 360, their best console, in spite of the red ring, still their best console.
Well, let me ask you this, Foxy. Because we are approaching the 2-hour mark, but I do want to ask you this. I've said this a number of times, and I'm just curious to see, as our special guest, what your take is. I'm seeing Sony PlayStation 5 with the DualSense controller, completely revamping their controller. Taking it to the nth degree. We haven't quite figured out what all the buttons and the creative button is going to do. You may know some of this, some of it you may not. Also a new UI. Things like that feel new, refreshing, and exciting to take a control, right? And now with the Xbox Series X, yes, I understand.
Over familiarity, isn't it?
It feels like when I pull the console out of the box, I feel like when I plug it in, it's going to feel like a simple or a very slight enhancement to the current system I have currently. That goes for the UI and it goes for the controller. Do you feel that this was a good move by Microsoft in playing it safe and just polishing? Or do you think that they should have been a little bit more bold like they have been in the past? And let me just prove my case real quick, because people go, Mooch, the Xbox One controller is the best controller out there. Okay, even if you feel that way, you also, and I also, said the 360 was the best controller ever. So if the Xbox One is better than the 360, never stop the ingenuity. Don't stop getting better. Don't stop creating, because that's when we all stop. Right? Everything needs to progress. So if the Xbox One controller is the best, and it is a very good controller, there are always things to capitalize and make more and make better on. And I think Sony did that this generation. I'm excited to pull that controller out of the box, see what these buttons are going to do, what the added creative button's going to do, how they're going to integrate this new PS5 UI, which may even have picture-in-picture. It may have an ability to, when you're stumbling in a game, to take you to a section that helps you, a YouTube or whatever. The interaction between the gamer and the UI seem to be more one from what I'm hearing in rumor and patents. And with Xbox, it seems like they're taking what they have and they're polishing it. Foxy, I know that was long-winded, but what is your take on the two consoles as you go to experience these in November?
Well, for me, it doesn't matter so much. I mean, to be honest, I'm only interested in loading the game and playing the game. I'm not staring at the UI for any amount of time that I need to. However, it does contribute to the experience of having something new. I mean, when you upgrade your PC, it's the same UI, isn't it? You're going to get same Windows, aren't you? The same Windows UI. Exactly.
Yes.
But you got more power and you're comfortable with that. But I think with consoles, it's a little different, because you're buying something specific to do something specific. With a PC, it's a multitasking thing. Consoles are quite specific, they're entertainment boxes. So you do want that feeling of new. And turning on the Series X only or Series S only to find a very similar UI to the in beta, someone said, Xbox One UI. Well, I guess it depends on who you are and what you care about.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest, it's not going to prevent me from enjoying the Xbox Series X. It's not going to be a big deal for me. If I could choose to have a new look, of course. But sometimes, I don't trust Microsoft with the UIs. I'd rather they've got it. They've got it to a point now where
it's stable.
Leave it alone now, because if they go for something new, we might have a whole new generation.
That's what I said. I was like, as long as it works, man, I'm happy. Just hopefully it works.
I think just leave it alone. People are comfortable with it. Sometimes I actually prefer it over the PS4s, only because you can choose your own. The whole. It's easier to do the whole wallpapers and stuff.
I like the custom ones on the PS4. Like I think I have a Ghost of Tsushima one that moves. I like that one.
I think it's more customizable, isn't it?
I'll be honest with you though. Yeah. I'm more adapt to pre-ordering a game now on PS4, because you get those themes with the game when you pre-order.
Yeah, that's what happened with Ghost of Tsushima, right? Like Ghost, you got that one.
I got one for Last of Us 2,
and I did too, and God of War.
And God of War. My point being, though, is that, like, I don't know, Foxy, let me just counter your point for a second. I think you'll agree when you hear what I say. Let's take a vehicle, for example, right? So the outside of your vehicle, if you're going to go by aesthetics, it means a lot, right? That's what everybody sees, because not everybody gets the enjoyment to ride in the car with you, right? It has to be somebody you know. Yeah. But the public sees the outside. But if you were to buy the same model car, right, but 8 years later, so it's the same model, but it's a new revamp, and you got in to your car, and it was the same UI on the radio, the same cloth seats, the same leather seats, whichever you prefer. Everything was statically in the same place. You'd say, well, you know what, Mooch? I actually do, and I enjoyed this car so much, that's why I'm buying it again. But you would be just a bit downhearted that they didn't change anything on the interior.
How much is this car though versus the Xbox Series X? How much is the car? 20 grand? Because then I'll be complaining.
Well, this is true. Yeah, we're not right. This is true. No, monetarily, it doesn't hold water. But I mean, as far as everything, I don't care if we're talking about NES to SNES to where we are with Xbox Series X and PS5. It's always been a bit of a difference, except for, again, PS3 to PS4, I thought was very similar. And I gave Sony the same slack. I just was hoping for something new. And I guess more than the UI, I mean the controller.
Mooch.
The controller seemed to let me down.
I'll agree with you on, Mooch. I'll agree with you on this. I'll use this as an example, okay? When I buy a new TV panel or monitor, I'll spend hours playing with all the different options, fixing the sound and all the visuals to my delight.
Yes.
Yeah? I revel in that when I have a new TV set. But after a while, I get bored of that shit. And I just want to watch TV.
Same.
So it's the same thing with these UIs.
That's
They're
true.
nice at first they're very, novelty wears off quickly though. You're like, as long as it's smooth and runs quickly, that's all you care about. But whether it's this color or that color or how come I can't do this, I mean, you learn to live without that stuff. The one thing I will say though, the Xbox has a way better user customizability, because you can actually customize the Xbox UI. I hope that's a big deal on the PS5
Yes,
as well, because
agreed.
I want to be able to create folders, and I want to change panel colors, and I want to do transparencies. I want to do all that stuff, because to me, that's like playing with my TV.
Yes, agreed.
You know what I mean? Tailoring it to the perfection that I can live with, and I don't have to touch it anymore.
That is something Xbox has, I believe, over Sony, is the customability, the customize home screen. You can change your pins, you can move things around, you can make things much more easily accessible to what you like.
Yeah.
If I'll use Forte for an example. Forte's a big Destiny fan, so right underneath his home screen, even if he doesn't have it as his last used icon, if he just pushes down on his D-pad, boom, he has an entire Destiny 2 home screen that pops up.
It is actually there right now.
Forte, without even being at your house, I know that's a fact.
Yep,
so
first tab,
so that's my point, and I do agree, Foxy. Outstanding point. I'm glad you kind of brought that realism to fruition and to everyone's, especially even my own eyes. But I will say this much: I really do hope that Microsoft. Well, I was kind of hoping that they would have a new controller. The controller is what bothers me more than the UI, because I thought that the Xbox 360, I enjoyed the Xbox 360 controller more than I did the Xbox One controller. That's a me problem. I get it. That's my problem. But I was hoping they would take the Xbox One controller and just revamp it ever so slightly and do something. And the things that they changed with a little bit more of that tethered grip in the back, I believe they've kind of tweaked the bumpers a bit, that's a good move as well. And they added a share button. So
and they put new motors in for your
rumble or
feedback and stuff like that. And when it comes down to it, they are talking about incredibly low latency, which is something that you're not going to be able to see, and we're yet to see if it's all marketing fluff or if there's actually a difference. If there is a difference, though, if you go in and it feels ultra responsive, even more than what we're doing now, I mean, that's good. Like,
no, I agree.
I would be down with that, man.
No, there's like I said, there's nothing wrong with it. I think between what you just said with the controller and what Foxy just described with the UI, and he's 100% right. You're both right. After you get done tinkering and having fun with the new toys and bells and whistles, at the end of the day, for the rest of the generation, you just want to click on the tile and make sure the game pops up. So I do agree with that. After you do, and then you know what? Even my car analogy kind of fits that. After you get done with the first few months of a new car and a new inside and a new bells and whistles that may be in your vehicle, after that, you basically just get in the car and go to work.
It just becomes the norm.
I drive a nice car. Honestly, I drive a pretty nice car. Mm-hmm. People are complaining, why don't you clean your car? You don't care about. No, I don't. It's just an extension of my legs. To me, I don't care about that.
That's a very good point and a great way to put it. I want to say shout out to the Sir X Man who's been in Super Chat and very patient. He says, come on, at least give Microsoft some credit for bringing out the highest rated simulator or game flight simulator this generation. Sir X Man, there's no arguing that. Flight simulator, yeah, right.
I just want to see how that translates to the console. Like, so many people are talking about this game, and of course, with the scores and stuff, meta who, I'm not about all that, but like, I'm interested to see how this game is going to transition to the Series X, because when people are doing their breakdowns of this game, if you notice, they're talking about, oh, I like playing it with the flight stick. And then somebody's like, oh, well, I have it on controller, but it's controller with the keyboard and stuff like that. I want to see how that
but game. All the accessories from the Xbox One. I'm sure there's a flight stick out for the Xbox One from a third party.
If you get the Ace Combat bundle, that stick works.
Yeah, I mean, all the accessories work. So you're gonna find some solution to enjoy that game, definitely.
I got you. I want to see how it translates to just the controller support on console.
It'll play like, you know what? I hear you can set the settings so it plays like Ace Combat.
You can if you put it on
everything for you.
Yeah, if you put it on the lowest, settings, you literally can let it play itself or play.
It's just take pictures in the sky.
It's like Mario Kart. It's like Mario.
I was watching somebody's. Like was like, hey, I'm playing this game, and literally after 5 minutes, I was like, I needed something with caffeine, because I mean that's just not my thing.
Yeah.
Like if people are into that. good for you, man. Like for somebody, but using it as ammo, going, we've got a 93 rated game. Like that game means I would be much more like, and I wouldn't be pissed off, right? Like if it was a game with a story and some gameplay, like hell yeah, let me play it on my Xbox.
Hey,
but
to some people out there, it's all about numbers. I've never been that but for the people who are about that, I mean, thing
is, it doesn't even mean anything to most gamers. No PlayStation person is going to be jealous of that.
All I see on social media is numbers and meta and all that crap.
Well, that's why I put out that. Yeah, that's why I put that tweet out. And I was like, "What the heck is going on?"
Well, no PlayStation gamer is going to be jealous. What game are we talking about?
Flight Simulator.
Oh, I put my hand up. I'm jealous, and I'm a PlayStation.
I'm not jealous.
Hey, Mooch,
I mean, it's not even on the console.
I'd like to play that on the PS4 right now.
Brap's got. All right, Brap, I'll give you a quick outro.
See you,
Brap,
Enrique.
thank you. I appreciate that. Basement Radio Arcade Podcast Wednesday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern time.
Almost 9:15.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna do outros right now. Actually, Brap.
I'll catch you guys later. Peace.
Later,
Brap, thanks for being here, Brap.
Yep, absolutely, my pleasure. Take care, guys.
Guys, while we do our outros real quick, I just want to say shout out to Sir X Man. He says PlayStation 5 getting our Snap feature. That's not cool. Is it Punts Clark?
He's mad about that.
I am too. I really enjoyed that. I hope we get picture-in-picture on PS5. Punts Clark says, did anyone find out what the fake 4K means? We went over that last week, and if you don't, and I'll give a plug here. Go check out Foxy Games UK. He did plenty of discussion on this, and it was basically just someone that was out there that was putting that out there, and that individual on Reset Era has been handled with whatever that was. That's old news, Punts Clark. Aerodamus says, so Mooch, when you buy your new car, you want a new steering wheel to learn every time you get a new car, same as controller. You know, it's not exactly that. Listen, controllers have always changed from generation to generation. So it's one of the things since I've been gaming for a very long time. You can check Foxy's title on Twitter, 86 Gaming. Been gaming for a very long time. And one of the things, whether we're talking about from the NES to the SNES or going from the Genesis to the N64, the fact that if you look at all of the generations, it was always a different controller, and it was always very welcome. And I just always thought that was very exciting. Even people were excited with these subtle changes that were done from the DualShock 3 to the DualShock 4. And I just feel like the Xbox One to the Xbox Series X, is just it's basically a carbon copy.
How about this? How about we just hope and pray that both Microsoft and Sony decide that they are going to use better materials for their controllers. How about that?
That's where I got to agree with the great Xbot 448. He's right. For once, guys, please put a couple extra dollars into those controllers.
No, seriously,
please.
man.
Yeah, just the quality of the material. But let me do this. Guys, it has been an outstanding Friday night. This is what Crossfire is all about. And, boy, I couldn't have imagined it going any better. I want to thank the panel. I want to thank the chat. Thank everybody from the Super Chat. Guys, I do have the join button right above the description. If you guys do want to become a Mooch Maniac family member, please do hit the join button and join. We have a great time every Friday. Videos on the channel. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button. But let me say this much, and I've been waiting a very long time to say this. Outstanding to have Foxy Games UK on the channel. Foxy, outstanding videos that you put out daily on your channel. I'm jealous because you and Crap do that, and I have yet to be able to do this. And let me say this. I want to say, Foxy Games UK, I hope you had a great time on this channel. I know we had a great time having you on the panel, but what say you?
It was fun. I enjoyed the conversations. Good conversations. We didn't discuss what I wasn't expecting to be really quizzed, but you guys really went easy on me, so cool. No problem. Nothing to worry about there then. Not even a sweat.
Not even one bead of sweat. Well, no, I'll be honest with you, Foxy, it's not really about putting anybody on the hot seat on the show. It's really about bringing up a discussion and seeing just basically how it transpires into an open debate. But Foxy, you handled yourself outstanding on the show. Not that you're a professional. There was no doubt about it. And I was just dying to say, what say you? Because you get to say it at the end of every one of your videos, and I can't use it. It's your slogan.
I know you too well, man. I knew that was
like to say thank you to your chat for being so active particularly Doggy Dog 420. Hilarious.
Doggy dog.
Dog, shout out to Doggy Dog 420.
Hilarious. No, that guy's stand-up material. Hilarious. Great comment.
There's a few comedians in there.
No, that's great commentary. Seriously, I'm gonna buy his book. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Thanks, chat. You guys are awesome, all of you. Seriously, every comment I found hilarious. If it wasn't hilarious, it was completely factual.
Appreciate having you on the show, Foxy. And like I said, we aim to have you back on possibly I like to give guests a bit of a break, but it's at least 6 weeks, 4 weeks,
Listen,
6 weeks.
I apologize for the quality of, it's not my mic. People are saying it's the mic. It's actually the quality of just Discord, to be honest, because we spoke earlier one-to-one, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
And there was no issue with sound whatsoever. So I don't know why.
No issue. I don't know why. And that's the one thing, a lot of people in the audience may or may not know this. I don't know how many other podcasts talk about it, but after Hangouts did what they did and they kind of required everybody to go into a separate way of getting audio on here, a lot of us gravitated to Discord, which is a great service, but it does come with its limitations. And you guys know that 2-3 weeks ago, I had awful sound coming off of it. Even right now, I'm still working very, very hard to keep my sound up and running because every single time there's a Windows update, something happens with Discord and something happens with all of my equipment. So I have to go in and fine tune and go in and change every single degree. So Foxy, you and I had a great hour and a half discussion earlier today, and the sound was crystal clear. So I don't know what was happening there.
It's just one of those things, I'm afraid. This is the same mic I use for my videos.
Right. No, it's not a microphone issue. I have the same microphone that I use on other shows, and for some reason it happens to be a problem only everyone. And it must be Friday nights. It's always on a Friday night. So shout out to Foxy. Right? Thank God for that. Shout out to Foxy Games. Foxy, thank you for being a gracious guest.
Well, I don't want to make everyone jealous, but on PS5 launch day, I'll be the only one with a 13.3 flop.
You just made everybody extremely jealous.
Yeah, so, I'm getting a special edition just for me.
Oh my God. I appreciate that, Foxy. Great to have you. Thank you, buddy. We'll have you on again soon. And then I'll go to my buddy here, Gaming Forte. Forte, thank you so much for what you've added to the experience tonight, buddy. I truly love what you're doing on your channel. I love your videos. Love what you're doing with, shout out to Slow Mo Backslap. What you guys are doing on your podcast, absolutely phenomenal. Buddy, let people know where they can find you. And thanks for being here tonight.
Yeah, man, always appreciate it. It's always a great time on Crossfire. So it's Gaming Forte everywhere, YouTube, Twitter, even Xbox Live. So check me out over there if you guys won the game or whatever. Shout out to Foxy for finally coming through, man. Been checking out your content for a very, very long time, man. So keep doing what you've been doing.
Too kind.
Shout out to Xbox. Hopefully you get all this Battletoads out of your system by next week.
Never.
So shout out to you for repping that game, man, because the game's actually pretty fun. I enjoy it. Shout out to Game Pass because they put out.
Did you just say Xbox was right then?
I'm not saying Xbox was right. I'm just saying you representing what you said you was going to do. You said you was going to play Battletoads and you doing it.
Oh, that he did.
And I'm saying, and I'm going to tell you shout out. And I'm going to say shout out to Game Pass because a game that came out last year called Darksiders Genesis, I was like, I'm not buying that game, because I know it's going to go into Game Pass, and I'm not buying a game that's completely different from the other three. And shout out to them. It's amazing. I'm playing it as we speak. So if you got Game Pass, check out that game, especially if you like the Darksiders series. It's a really, really cool game. But check us out on Brap Wednesdays at 9 p.m. And check us out on my channel this week with Slow Mo Backslap, where we go over all the stuff that happened over the weekend at 9 p.m. on Tuesday. So outside of that, have a great weekend, guys.
Appreciate that, Forte. And then I've got my buddy here, Xbot448. Xbot, outstanding work as usual tonight. I know you were a little bit late, but I truly appreciate it. I can't believe
my headset cut you guys off, and I just kept going tonight.
Yeah, we were all like, hey, but, Xbot, if you could just, it's okay. Yeah, he was like, I'm just going to give my review. Xbot, nonetheless, it was a great review. It was awesome to have you here tonight, buddy. Let people know where they can find you, please.
Yeah, definitely. I have a small channel. It is called Xbot448. Not only that, I am on Twitter with the same name, Xbot448. This Sunday, first episode of the Series X podcast. Me and the elusive gamer, a.k.a. Jamie Moran, have come up with a show with no console wars in the chat, no console wars in the topics, just talking about Xbox, and it premieres this Sunday, 6 p.m. Eastern. Be there for the first episode, because I have a feeling it's going to be the first of many episodes. And shout out to my partner in crime, Mr. Jamie Moran.
Actually, absolutely. Shout out to Jamie. And then last but not least there, I will give a shout out to Crap Gamer. Crap had to leave a little bit early. He just wrote me. He's like, Mooch, you got to do my outro. I got to go. Shout out to Crap Gamer and Crap Gamer Reviews. Guys, we do have MNC Mornings this Sunday. It's on my channel, the Mooch78. So, guys, if you're here, please do hit the subscribe button. We are trying to get more people to come and enjoy that show as well. Guys, outstanding show tonight. Shout out to Crap. Shout out to Xbox, Gaming Forte, Enrique, our special guest, Foxy Games UK. And, guys, let me tell you this much. We had an outstanding show. We've got another one next Friday. MNC Mornings this Sunday here. Stay tuned to the channel. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy your games. Have fun. We'll see you next week. Good night, everybody. Peace.
Salute.
Battletoads!